Welcome to Talker and Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-hosts, Jen Isgro and Tom Kakoza. Brendan will not be joining us tonight. He got so emotional, was so emotionally taken by this episode that he threw out his back. So we are sending all the yellow weaves we can to you, Brendan.
Heal, buddy.
Jen, how are you doing?
I'm good, Joe. It's Good Friday today, but it's not good for Jesus, but it was good for me. I colored eggs. My kids colored eggs, and I spent time with my family today.
Sucks to be Jesus.
Well, I guess it's good.
My kids colored eggs.
I guess it's good for him, because if he didn't die, there would be no Easter Sunday for us. But so that's why they call it Good Friday, I guess. But it's also good and bad, because we're here talking about a very good episode, but the last episode of season 3.
It is the last episode of season 3. And Tom, how are you doing?
I'm sad that it's the last episode of season 3, Joe. I'm very interested to see how this episode goes of our show.
I am too, especially since Brendan's not here. It was one of those episodes where after I was done taking my notes, I was like, damn, I have a lot of notes. Didn't think I would have that many notes, but there's a lot of stuff that happens in this episode.
Yes.
It kind of harkens back to the finale of season 2, where there was a lot of stuff going on in that episode as well. I guess we'll get to that in a minute. I do want to say, we're going to keep the format as is, even though Brendan's not here. First part of the episode will be book spoiler free. So if you have not read the books, fear not, we will not spoil anything. And then after we are done with our spoiler-free section, we will move on to the spoiler-filled section. Brendan did send his thoughts about the episode and his rating, so we will be reading. We should have made him record it. That would have been more fun, I think, if we played his recording. But
I think
record it.
He was already on muscle relaxers.
That would have been even better.
So
yes.
I don't know how deep and slow his voice can get, but it might not have been audible. Yeah,
it's below what we can human ears can understand.
Tom will do his best Brendan impression when he reads.
Oh, okay, all right, I will.
No, you don't have to. So before we get into the episode, Jen, let's get the recap.
Here we go, guys. Episode 308, He Who Comes with the Dawn, was written by Justine Jewell Gilmer and directed by Kieran Donnelly. We opened the same way the season opened, on a rainy day in Tarvalon, except this time it's 10 years ago. Elida steps back into the 13th Depository through that red stone door frame, and it's clear something magical is going on. She smiles at a charm bracelet hanging from her wrist. Alviarin accuses her of being reckless, having stepped through a doorway from which many of their sisters have not returned. Elida says the Aelfin have promised her the Amerlin seat, and says she hopes she still has Alviarin's favor in today's vote. In the hall, all our favorite sitters are there, even Karene. And since the last Amerlin has passed away, the vote is now between Elida and Swan. The Blues and Verin stand for Swan, but that's not enough. However, when the votes are called for Elida, Alviarin, the new queen of drama, decides to stand up for Swan. Most other sisters follow suit, and it is decided. Swan is in her study in the present, reading important papers and daydreaming about Moraine, like you do, when Leane enters. Leane thinks they should not declare for Rand without putting it to a vote. It would give Elida a chance to move against her. Swan says she'll think about it. But it's kind of too late, since she's already been sending letters about this to the leaders of Randland. Elida discusses this with sitters Alviarin and Galena and says she will need their support today. Rand is harvesting the squashes. Egwene interrupts him and tells him the wise ones are waiting. Samael is shielded and kneeling in an empty room as Moraine enters. It's so cool how Ashamael taught her that little trick of tying off a shield, so she doesn't have to sweat over this like our Season 1 ladies did. Samael gives a speech about how he basically invented warfare and wears his facial scar from Lutheran proudly so he can see it when Samael kills him. Okay, buddy. Maureen says Samael has to teach Rand about the power or else she will bury him here. Leandrin walks in on Chesmal playing with cats and Jean playing with a balefire rod. Ispen's still missing, but they assume Leandrin killed her like she did Naomi, although no one's particularly broken up over either of them. Servant Mogedion comes in and presents the second bracelet to Leandrin. Yeah, some guy just came to the door this morning and sold it to me? I don't know. Leandrin slaps the bracelet on and tells the others they are headed for the Panarch's palace. Matt and Nynaeve are outside the house eating ramen as the Blacks head out. Nynaeve follows and Matt goes to get the others. The Blacks walk into the palace and Leandrin kills the guards, then pulls out the painting of the shackled man. Leandrin hasn't seen the collar when it's not being worn, so they actually don't know what it looks like, but our heroes do. See, Egwene, everything happens for a reason. Rand is waiting in his dream for Lanfear. She tells him Samael will be a shit teacher, but he's all they had. Rand wants to know what happened to the Lanfear he saw in Rhuidean, but he's no longer buying any of the excuses she comes up with. He says Luz left her because she's a jealous, cruel monster. Same reason he is. Lanfear wigs out, but Egwene steps between them before she can attack and sends Lanfear out of the dream. They wake up back in the Waste, and this was all a trap to kill Lanfear. The named people in this storyline power up their attacks and wait 6 seconds, but Lanfear doesn't come, so they leave to head for Alcair Dal. Elsewhere, Melindra is stopped by a maiden. Oh, it's Lanfear! Is there any look this woman can't pull off? Lanfear is calling in the debt Melindra owes her. The Tanchigo crew plus Tom roll up outside the Panarch's palace. Nynaeve knows there's a Forsaken around because no one else could have compelled them like that, so whoever finds the collar better GTFO fast. Samael wakes up from his nap to a smiling Mogedion. He offers her an alliance, but she really wants to kill a Chosen. So, Tom, I'm extremely sorry, but this is the end of Samael. But not the end of his insides, which we'll get to see later on. Rand and the Tardad head through the desert. Ruark isn't sure if the Aiel will accept him and doesn't want Rand to tell them what he saw about their past. Avienda tells Egwene that the Aiel have to follow him, but she doesn't, so what is she even still doing here? Maureen and Lan discuss what she saw in the rings, and she thinks this is going down today. They arrive at Alcair Dal, where 4 other clans and their chiefs wait to hear Rand, and the Shido are just here for the tea. Savannah and Couladin are discussing attacking the others when Maiden Lanfear enters. She is full on against Rand now, and she helps out by giving Couladin his own set of dragon tattoos. Elida dresses in her room with every piece of red jewelry she owns, and that Finn charm bracelet. Farron and Leane tell Swan that 8 red sisters left the tower for no reason, but 8 is enough. To gentle a man, Swan sends Varen with a group after them and tells Leane to bring her Elida. The Panarch's palace is creepily deserted other than dead bodies as Leandrin and Nynaeve walk around. Elaine tries to work out a way to find the collar by delving for metal, and Tom tells her she used to do the same kinds of things when she was a kid. Min and Matt search a room with a bunch of random crap while discussing how great the world would be without the One Power or her visions or his memories. Elaine can't remember Tom, but she says he must have left just before Gabriel arrived. Except Tom's been keeping an eye on the court, and he knows Morghese does not have a consort. Jean shows up, calls Morghese a whore, and starts shooting balefire from the rod as Elaine and Tom run. Matt notices a red door frame in the corner, and Min tries to stop him, but too late. He steps through and magics into a darkened room, the floor littered with human bones. On a pedestal in the center of the room stands a human/fox hybrid, with tiny sharp teeth and very fabulous boots. He asks Matt what his need is, and I hope he doesn't ask for a charm bracelet. Min calls for him from the other side, but Chesmal enters, and Min has to hide. Well, that rhymes. Chesmal recognizes the doorframe as a Tirangrial, and Min pulls out her drawing of Matt hanging in case the audience forgot what the problem is. Nynaeve hides in another room, as Leandrin has followed some whispering voices in here and is searching through the objects. She tosses a chest to the ground in anger and storms out. But of course, the very plain-looking collar has rolled right to Nynaeve, and she snatches it up. Tom says he'll distract Jean so Elaine can run. He says he made a promise to her mother to keep her safe, and he wants her to go back to Andor, because Gabriel put those memories in her head, and only a Forsaken could do that. This Tom Maryland guy is super smart and talented, and the dramatic guitar strum that is playing as he stands up made me extremely nervous. Elaine runs, but not really. She sneaks up behind Jean, knocks her down, grabs the balefire rod, and balefires the shit out of this bitch. Jean burns away, and a silhouette of where she had been standing appears for a moment, as all the damage she did with the rod repairs itself. Tom and Elaine stare at each other shocked, but phew, he survived. The Foxman, an eelfin, asks Matt if he's carrying certain things, but Matt is very distracted by the smell in this place. The eelfin knows Matt's name and tells him he has 3 wishes, basically. Matt starts yelling without realizing what he's doing. I'm sick of this one power. Done. The eelfin says they can take those pesky memories. You can fix me? Done. Matt finally recognizes the smell as death. My last need is I need to get the fuck out of here. Done. But silly Matt didn't set a price, so the eelfin will, and Matt appears back in the palace hanging from the doorframe with a silver fox medallion around his neck. Chesmal watches him struggle until he passes out. Min knocks Chesmal out, cuts Matt down with a dagger, but he's not breathing. Because they don't have CPR classes here, Min screams at him, breathes into his mouth once, and then slams on his chest until he wakes up. Matt's memories are gone, but not just the ones that weren't his. Nynaeve's outside with the collar, waiting for her friends, instead of listening to her own advice and getting the fuck out, when Leandrin walks out. Nynaeve tries to talk to Leandrin about what happened to her as a girl, but Leandrin doesn't want to bond with her, nor does she want to turn back to the light. She channels some chains around Nynaeve, takes the collar out of her hands, and then flings Nynaeve out into the bay, where she immediately sinks to the bottom. Leandrin waits to see what happens, but when nothing does, she leaves. Nynaeve struggles in the water and thinks about Elnor, her accepted test daughter. Just when all hope seems lost, Nynaeve finally lets go and breaks her block. She literally parts the sea and walks out. Lan is meditating in his tent as Melindra approaches him from behind and holds a spear to his back. She swore her dark oaths to bring Malkyr back, but now she's supposed to kill the Golden Crane to fulfill them? Not happening. She tells him Lanfear's coming for Rand, and Lan will have the upper hand because she'll think he's dead. Breaking her dark oaths kills her, and her soul, too, because the Dark One, like Santa Claus, is always watching. Rand and Moraine have a sit-down where they both understand and accept what the other has been trying to do. Rand says Moraine is the only person who has never left him, but Egwene would like a word, please. Rand knows now that he's only here because of Moraine and wants her to stand at his side, but she says not today. He has to do this alone, and she'll be busy protecting him from Lanfear. Varen and some other sisters ride up on Galena and the Reds camped in the woods. Varen orders them to return to the tower, but Galena says Swan can't stop them from doing their duty, which is keeping Varen out of the tower. Whoops. Lyanna and Swan march toward the hall where Elaida tries to bar them from entering. Inside, they find Elaida and the news that the hall voted with 11 sitters to depose Swan. She's also been accused of being a dark friend, for which the punishment is stilling. Alviarin and some others quickly shield Lyanna, who was ready to start swinging that staff into another skull, and Elaida leads the rest in stilling Swan, who is then dragged from the hall to be questioned. Leandra returns to the house with a collar and notices a tarantula just before she hears Moghedien humming. I seriously cannot choose between all the messy, dramatic queens in this episode. Leandrin still wants to be a chosen and says since she's weaker, Moghedien would get to be nameless once the other chosen are gone. Also, it takes 2 women to use the bracelets and collar, so why don't they collar the dragon reborn together? Ravin and Lanfear appear in the room where Samaya was being held, except all that's left of him is a spiderweb of his internal organs. See? Dramatic. But wait, Lanfear's new Maleficent outfit and eye makeup have also just entered the drama competition. Lanfear says he'd better ally himself with her before Moghedien comes for him next, and they should probably go get Kalendor. But Ravin knows that means Rand has turned on her. She says she's ready to kill the Dragon Reborn. Rand and Ruark arrive at Alcair Dal just in time to see Couladin surf in and declare himself Karakarn. He hypes up the crowd, but Rand's not worried since he knows Couladin didn't go into Rhuidean and has no idea what he saw in there. Rand meets all the Karakarn requirements, and he also has the tattoos. The crowd of Aiel aren't sure what to believe. A bleeding and beaten Swan is dragged back in front of the Amerlin seat, and has to watch Keeper Alviarin announce Elaida as Amerlin. Elaida calls out her relationship with Moraine and demands Swan tell them all the truth. As Swan admits that she loves Moraine, we cut to Moraine channeling with the Sakarnin, alone in the desert, as Lanfear approaches her and blasts her off her feet. Swan tells the sitters about the prophecy of Rand's birth. She does her best to convince them to do the right thing and not follow Elaida. Swan says the tower will burn, but she will never burn because she is the daughter of the river bitches. Too bad the vote already came down and nothing she said mattered. Swan has been sentenced to death. Rand tells the Aiel the truth of what he saw in the glass columns. Ruark tries to get him to stop, but Rand says he was born to destroy the Aiel. He calls them oathbreakers, and the crowd immediately turns on each other in an uproar. Couladin tries to get them back and wants them to follow him across the dragon wall, but only some of the Aiel decide to walk away. Lanfear strangles Moraine with the power. Lan appears, as Moraine pretends to lose consciousness, and together they attack Lanfear with sword and Sakarnin. Lan actually gets a slice in on her before she blasts them away. Moraine tries to hold her back, but Lanfear gets close enough and runs her through with a sword. It's at this moment that Moraine can feel that Swan has been killed, and now she has super grief powers. She pulls the sword from her gut and channels into it, then slices Lanfear across the throat. Lanfear teleports the hell out of here, and Moraine collapses in pain, weeping in Lan's arms. Rand recites the prophecy to the remaining crowd, and then channels a deluge of rain. The chiefs all kneel to him, as do the wise ones and the crowd. We get some quick cuts of Elida moving into the Amerlin study, of Moghedien, of Fail Bane and Chiad watching the White Cloak camp, of the Tanchico crew on a seafolk ship. Egwene begs Rand to let go of the power. Does he? The world may never know.
Thank you, Jen. And it wasn't 15 minutes, Jen.
It was 14:58.
It was 13 minutes.
Okay.
I said 12:50. I said 12:50. I'm very impressed. All right.
Yeah, so cold open, an actual cold open. 10 years in the I was surprised by this cold open. Brendan's not here, but I feel like if he were, he would be upset that we didn't get an Age of Legends flashback. Here in episode 8.
Yeah.
But this was a pretty cool flashback. Right, this is Swan and Elida vying for the seat, the Amerlin seat. Yeah, Elida coming out the stone door frame. Interesting. You heard you'll probably, I didn't hear it the first time, but when you go back and watch it, I realized that you can hear the fox yelping when she comes out.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, when she walks out, when she comes through the gate, you hear like the yelping that you hear later on when Matt's in the...
That's interesting.
Yes. We'll put a pin in that for the spoiler part, because I do have questions for it there.
Yeah.
Right, so it seems like that's where Elida got that bracelet that she's wearing, that she, clutches in episode 3. Is it 2 or 3? I can't remember now. 3, I think.
3.
We still don't know what the bracelet does, or
yeah.
But Alviarin's there to meet her, and she said, she talks a little bit about the Aelfin, that like they can give you things, or it was very vague. So I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if that's the same. Well,
they don't have the same name in the story. It's Aelfin, and in the show,
yes,
it's Aelfin and Eilfin, and it's said explicitly.
Yes, explicitly. So. Elida saw the Aelfin and Matt saw the Eilfin, right? And these are two different door frames that look almost exactly alike, or look exactly alike. I don't even. One is in the White Tower. We saw that in like the first episode when they go into the 13th Depository. It's kind of in the background there. So these are two distinct doorways, but they seem to be somehow connected. And yeah, Alviarin's there. And I have a question about this, right? And I don't even know if it's answered later on in the episode. I don't think so. When they're voting for the new Amerlin, right? So they have that conversation, Alviarin and Elida, and you think Alviarin's going to vote for Elida. But she doesn't. She dramatically waits too. Like, I guess, whatever. She wanted to be dramatic, I guess. But why doesn't she vote for Elida? Then, and now she does. Later on, she does.
I feel we might be able to put a pin in that one too.
Yeah, that's a question for later.
Okay.
I would say.
We're not talking about anything tonight.
We're not going to be talking about anything.
We're just going to do 3 minutes, and then the rest.
It's going to be a much shorter spoiler-free part because Brendan's not here.
Let's remember, I'm going to highlight stuff that we have to talk about.
Well, I have stuff that I highlighted already.
Oh, okay.
But there might be more. No, but more stuff might come up. Like these are things I pre-highlighted.
Okay.
Yeah, and the delayed vote for Swan. You think that was just her being, dramatic?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I feel like I feel like for whatever reason, she looked at who was voting for Swan and looked at it seems like she was weighing the options and trying to figure out what the logical choice to make then was.
Yeah. I was wondering if she was seeing like if Swan would be elected without her having to vote for her, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, things will change later on. What's any preference of story you want to do first? I guess Tanchico, because I guess it ends the soonest, right? In the episode.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, let's do the Tanchico storyline first, right? We've got Leandrin with Jean and Chasmal, right? It seems like they don't really trust Leandrin so much anymore after, she killed Naomi. They're like, where's Ispan? Or who knows? They don't know where Ispan is. But I have a question about that. This is like a weird, silly question, right? So Ispan was killed while she was in Teleran Riyadh, right?
Yes.
So where was she that she went into Teleran Riyadh that they can't find her?
I imagine Mogedion killed her in Teleran Riyadh and then hid the body.
Okay. That's true. Yeah, she's living at the house. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Mogedion shows up with the bracelet as the servant and gives it to her. I'm not sure why.
What do you mean not sure why? Why did she give it to her?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know either.
Is that supposed to be reasons?
Because it's the last episode and they gotta move stuff along.
So she would, but she already has.
There's one bracelet.
There's one bracelet.
She has one, and Leandrin has one. Mogedion has one, and then Mogedion would have to find. If Leandrin knows that it's in the Panarch's palace, then Mogedion knows that it's in the Panarch's palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Is it like? Let me give her the other bracelet because then they'll go and find the collar for me.
Yeah, I think maybe it's that. Yeah. Like she can get them all whenever she wants, so let her go find the other thing now.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I don't think. I think this might be one that we can't think about too hard.
Yeah. All right. So and then Matt and I.
Spoiler: there's a lot of that in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. So Matt and Nynaeve are staking out the Lunault, right? It's Lunault. Yeah, Lunault. Lunault place. They see Leandrin and the other two come out. Matt
can't use chopsticks.
Yeah, Matt can't eat his
See, I
ramen.
left some stuff out. I didn't put everything.
Matt goes to get the others. Nynaeve goes to follow Leandrin. Right there, they go to the Panarch's palace. They kill a bunch of people to search for the collar. So I have a question about this too. Did they kill everybody in the palace? Because this palace seems pretty empty for a palace.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but then some of the bodies had like worms on them, which we specifically were zooming in on. Is that supposed to mean like they've been there for a while?
Some of them had worms.
They had
on them?
like maggots on them. But it was like a zoom into the worms. So it's like
I didn't notice.
What is this supposed to mean? Is it supposed to mean that they've millipedes? Mega's saying in chat. Is that something significant? No, right? They're just bugs eating the people. That's what I thought.
Pretty quickly is what you're saying. Like if they just killed them, the bugs got there so quickly. Well, I mean, that palace looked pretty crappy from the outside. To be honest with you,
it's not. Yeah, it's like old. It looks like it's like overgrown and like like deserted almost.
It doesn't
like the Panarch Amathera, and then she's like not there, or like there's no. It's like barely, 4 guards, and that was it.
4 guards and some servants, and I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. Yep.
It wasn't a vibrant palace.
Like the Panarch. Yeah, like not whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's all it was. It was a palace. It wasn't a castle. It's a palace.
Here's something I really like though. That this kind of comes together in this episode, or I don't know. It just kind of works out in this episode. That right, Leandrin's got the drawing of the statue, and so it's the collar, right? on the man. But right, she's looking for the wrong thing because that's not what the collar looks like when it's not on somebody. And that's like the advantage that Nynaeve and Elaine and that group have, is that they know what they're looking for more than she does.
Right.
Because they've actually seen an ADOM when it's not on somebody. I like that a lot. I like how that works out. That works out really well for this in this episode. But did you notice like the voice, the kind of like strange voices when Leandrin's looking?
Yes.
Right. So is that like the bracelets kind of like calling to the collar?
I
believe that's what it was supposed to be. Yeah.
It wasn't like Moghedian making her walk into the room where the collar was. I don't know. No. I don't know what I thought it was, but she was definitely following voices into the exact room where it was.
Yes.
And then didn't recognize it.
I think it's the bracelets like calling to the collar. That's what it's supposed to be.
Like the one ring?
Yeah, but I think it's more like, my guess is like, it's more of a feeling, like she's kind of drawn to it, but they wanted to make some sort of, audible or effect to like cue people like, hey, there's a pull or draw.
Okay.
Very evil things in the show can talk to you, like the knife can, and these things can too.
Yeah, I did like that though. I liked how how that was all set up though. So Tom and Elaine and Min and Matt and Nynaeve, they all go to the palace. Right. This is I don't know which time in this season, but it's definitely the first of two times in this episode where this happens, where somebody immediately assumes that somebody has to be Forsaken.
Yeah.
Nynaeve assumes that it's a Forsaken who, whatever compulsed her.
Well, the only thing I could say about that is that Naomi said to Leandrin, like, when she was like, could you be a little better about the compulsion or whatever? And she was like, no, like only a Forsaken has like enough power to be like that precise with it.
But she knows for sure because she's working with a Forsaken. So I feel like it's okay for Naomi to say that.
I don't know, I thought it was like, this is so far beyond what people.
But how would Nynaeve know that? Like
now can do. I don't know.
Is it because she's the most powerful channeler in 1,000 years?
For someone to do that to her, the most powerful channeler in 1,000 years, it would have to be a Forsaken.
They say it. It's said at the end of the episode. Poor Brendan's not here.
They said it
to comment on that part.
Yeah, that I don't know. But the Tom thing was a little.
Yes, that happens again with Tom.
A little much. Yeah.
I feel the opposite. Like Tom is the only character on this show who should just know that. Like I feel like Tom can know everything.
It's not
any situation, anything, any history, culture, piece of knowledge.
I don't feel like it's a history. Fine. There would be no history. I think it's fine that he knows
that he's like right. There's no consort. Like that information is fine, but just assuming that this guy tricked everybody, he must be a force. I don't know. Like that's like a big leap. I think
it's a big leap. Just like it's the same thing as my issue with the Wise Ones when Egwene encounters Lanfear, and they were like, "Oh, it must be a Forsaken." Like, how do you know? You weren't even there. You didn't even.
All right. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean it happens. This is at least 3 times. There's probably more that it happens this season.
I was like, you see this?
And it's always with Forsaken. It's always with Forsaken.
There's a Forsaken in your house.
So they all split up. Nynaeve goes alone. That's because she pairs up with somebody later on. So we got Tom and Elaine, right? We get this little interaction between them, right? Tom remembers Elaine very well when she was the little girl. There's a great line later on where she goes, "Who are you, Tom Marilyn?" Right? She says that later on, like. But it worked there. Did you mention, Jen, Tom doesn't remember any Lord Gabriel, and he kept tabs on the. He's kept tabs on the what's it called? You wouldn't need to keep tabs on the on the royal palace in Camelin to know that if a consort came, right? I mean, it would be pretty general knowledge for anybody would know that.
Well, I actually this bit was like one of my favorite bits in the episode, just because we braised this in earlier episodes. Like, wouldn't just anybody who isn't around him know that he's fake?
Yes.
And like we talked about how like that wouldn't really matter because he'd interfere, but he didn't expect that, she'd meet up with someone whose opinion she would trust, I guess. Tom's the best. I'm trying to give extra Tom love for Brendan not being.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I lost my spot there.
All right.
Oh, Jean.
About to show up.
Yeah, Jean shows up and fires her laser cannon. It's very powerful. He can't control it, I guess.
Her laser cannon.
That's what it kind of looks like. I mean, at least the way it fires. That's what I thought, a laser cannon. That's a very typical laser cannon type function, I think, there.
Okay.
It does look a little bit like that kind of the guns that Cobra used on the old cartoon. But yeah, I'm seeing proton packs a lot too. I like that. Balefire definitely looked like a purple, like Ghostbusters proton beam. Yeah.
It did have like a purpley pinkish tint to it for sure.
Yeah, very upset. Just because Jean's so hot. Like there's no other reason. She's hot. I was hoping to see her in more seasons.
So good.
She did have those like really tiny shorts on with the high boots.
Oh my gosh. Every outfit.
For anyone who's attracted to women, that's a really good look. Not for me, but I can appreciate it.
Speaking of outfits, did nobody change outfits for the last few days? Because everybody's wearing the same clothes they wore in episode like 4 or 5.
I feel like Jean changes every time you see her.
No, she had that outfit on last episode, and I think that's the outfit that we saw when they walked through the town of San Chico.
Outside the outfit.
But even Nynaeve, Matt, they're all wearing the same outfits.
What are they made of money?
I don't know.
Is this the next day?
It has to be the next day.
All right, so then they didn't shower yet. What do you want?
Yeah.
They've been busy.
Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's days later. I really don't know.
They didn't shower. They don't shower, Jen. You're so crazy. No showers.
Especially in San Chico.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody there reeks. I could just imagine.
There's just a lot of perfume put on to cover it up.
Disgusting, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think like it happens. They get compelled, and then do they just like go? It's like the next day, the next morning, and they're outside her house.
I would assume so, right? They found out the information the night before. I guess they don't have hangovers. Nobody has a hangover. But yeah, maybe they fell asleep in their clothes, and they just woke up and went.
This is important to pin down before we move on.
This is the point where I would ask Brendan, why did Tom promise to the Queen to protect Elaine? That seems odd for a court bard to make.
She's a very persuasive person. She probably made everyone promise that.
Yeah. Okay.
You person walking past.
Yeah.
Better protect her.
And then he makes, he warns Elaine that Gabriel must be a Forsaken. This is our other Forsaken assumption. You didn't have to assume that. You didn't have to make that assumption. I feel like that line didn't need to be there because because the audience knows that it's a Forsaken already, and B, all you have to say is something's going on, something's not right.
Yeah.
Like, this guy doesn't exist. That's all you had to say. Because if the audience didn't know it was a Forsaken, then I would say, yes, put that line in there. But we all know it's a Forsaken, so why even put that line in there? I don't know. Seemed gratuitous, I guess. I don't know.
Got nothing for you.
No, nobody agrees with me, I guess.
No, I agree with you.
Except for Jen. Jen agrees with me.
I agree.
No, I
just don't have anything more to say about that.
I said, okay. And we get, so how awesome was Tom putting on the hat and we got the guitar strum?
That made me I was so scared.
This was more than any other fake out death that they've done. this was the most effective fake out they've ever done on the show. I was so 100% sure he was about to buy it right here.
I was waiting for the whistling to come in, actually. That's what I was waiting for when I heard that the guitar strum. Oh, yes, I thought Tom was going to die again. I was like, no, they're going to do it again?
Yeah. I really like...
This time for real? I don't know.
Yeah. Thank God he's not dead.
Yes. But I didn't see him on the boat at the end. He wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about the boat later. It's a whole other
we'll talk about the boat. It's a whole issue on the boat?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. All right. Talk about it. Put a pin in that one.
No, we can when we get to it.
Oh.
We don't have to put a pin in it.
Okay. I mean, it was literally like 3 seconds, so I didn't know how much there would be to talk about it. I thought the most notable thing was just Tom wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right, Elaine then sneaks up behind Jean, blasts her, catches the balefire rod in her hand, channels into it, and answers the question of what would happen if you shot balefire at a person. They evaporated and then repaired the roof of the building.
It kind of rewound a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, it was kind of like a rewind.
Yeah, it did, like you see like the almost like an after image of her breaking up the roof.
Yeah.
Before it heals, yeah.
So balefire evaporates people and then, like I said, repairs roofs. That's what it does.
Okay, good. That can be handy.
Yeah.
I'm picturing some sort of like what's like the Flex Seal commercial.
Yeah.
I'm picturing someone's gonna be doing a meme now of
balefire.
A balefire Flex Seal kind of
yeah. Need a roof to be repaired. Get a balefire rod. So we jump over to Min and Matt right there. They find a room filled with some interesting doodads and curiosities. And then, oh, look, it's the doorway from Min's visions. Matt, stay away. Stay away.
Too late.
Too late.
All right. So can we just take a second here? In all of our lead up for a year plus, in our lead up to this season, Joe was trying to get some, and this is clearly the episode where Matt goes to the door frame. And then, and as we were going through, we're getting closer to it. We're doing our episode breakdowns. We said, basically as a joke, yeah. And then somewhere in the Panarch's palace, Matt just falls into a doorway, and that's what they actually did.
Yes, I think we were in the wrong episode, though. I think we had it earlier in the season.
No, I think in our breakdowns, it's in episode 7 or episode 8. Yeah.
Oh, okay, we'll have to go back and we'll do that. That'll definitely be part of our post season 3.
One of the only things we got right.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt falls through the doorway.
Into Zoobilee Zoo.
Stop it.
No, I won't stop it.
The fox from Zoobilee Zoo looked more like a fox than this guy.
He looks more like the mayor from Zoobilee Zoo, to be fair.
Yeah, Sarah, my wife Sarah said cats.
Cats, yeah.
Immediately. So I guess there's feelings about the eel fin.
I was not. No, I was not. The eelfin are supposed to look like fox-ish people, like people with vaguely fox-like expression. Like they're not supposed to
noses,
look
right? Like pointy.
Yeah, like ears. Their hair is red and like brush-like on top. It's not supposed to be like that's clearly like a monster. Like that's not like Matt's not. I don't know. Whatever. I wasn't thrilled with the way they did it.
No. Can we talk about this now or no? I'm scared. Like,
we can talk about it more later if you want.
Yeah.
I would.
I wasn't sure when I first saw it. I was like, but then the second time I watched it, I was like, you know what? No, I do like it. I think it's interesting.
Here's what I didn't like about it. I felt like it was too shiny and bright and clean, his fur. I would have liked it more if they kind of tamped down the color a bit and dirtied it up maybe a little bit so it wasn't as bright and clean.
Yeah,
That's my criticism of it. At least I think that would have helped a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I love the decor. I didn't even like I didn't mind like the one Rubenness of it. You know?
No, and I feel we kind of talked about they were gonna have to
and like I always
it.
there should only be I think that makes sense.
Well,
right?
this is also I feel like
it was too it shouldn't have been clear. It should have been smoky in there or something like that. Like I feel like it was
shot like maybe like weird camera angles to make it look disorienting a bit. That would have been kind of cool.
There were a couple of odd ones like from above or whatever, which I thought was good. But like
that's true,
and you got the sense that things were weird there. I just felt like they could have gone weirder and it would have been better, and they went too weird with the costume. I feel like decor should have gone weirder, costume should have gone less weird.
Yeah.
To me.
I think this scene, and here's the thing, here's an issue I have with this episode. And this was an issue that I think that a lot of people felt about the finale of the second season, was that it felt like they had to cram more than one episode's worth of stuff in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they could have spent more time on some of the other areas and they just didn't have enough time. So they had to cram, like, and that's what happened last season, right? It was like, they got up to episode 8 and it was like, damn, we got to fit the rest of the stuff in the season. Like they could have done with either another episode or, so I feel like that happened again. And this is one of the areas that I thought they could have spent more time with, at least. Like we didn't have to have 10 minutes of Matt wandering around, but we could have gotten maybe a couple of rooms, a cutaway, and then back to Matt. And he's, when he finds the eelfin. I really liked the performance of the eelfin.
And I like the if you're gonna do what you did, like, hey, we've got this amount of time, we're gonna do it this way. I like the dialogue. I think they did a good job with like, oh, this is what the eelfin are about. Like, this is like,
So some other questions I would have asked Brendan, had he been here. Where is Matt? How does
in Tanchico?
Yeah. How does it know Matt's name? And it asks basically,
it's a monster, Joe. That's my that's Brendan's answer to you.
Yeah. And it, exactly. And it yelps just like the sound we hear in the beginning with Elida when she comes through or comes out of the door.
Obligatory. What does the fox say? I mean,
yeah. So it keeps asking Matt what his need is. And he makes a declaration about not wanting to be, wanting to be rid of like the one power and any other kind of magical power. The fox is like, done.
I love when he said like the noise that accompanied the word done. That was really cool.
Oh, what was the noise?
Like every time he said done, it was just like done. It was like I wasn't like a drum beat, but it was like a very heavy sound that like, it was like something's happening right now. Like he's like, what did you just do? Like what just happened? It was like,
shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wants his memories to be fixed, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. More about that. Minutes. And then also to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was weird, right? Have we heard that word on the show before?
Well, it sounded like he said feck, to be honest with you, but the captioning said fuck. But I saw it 3 times the episode, and it sounds like he said feck.
Say feck?
Yes.
Not fuck.
No, he said feck.
Okay. Well, maybe it was feck then.
Well, whatever.
But it's his accent too. So, no, I know.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Get me the fudge out of here.
So basically, this fox guy can grant wishes. It sounds like.
So get me the fox out of here.
Yeah, get me the. But apparently, Matt set no price or terms. So the fox creature, the eelfin, set the price and terms, and it seems like the price was Matt's neck.
Life.
Right.
She's like, let me out of here, but don't hang me. Just let me safely exit this place.
He didn't say safely. I guess that was the word he missed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
and we get the incarnation of Min's vision.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Min had the paper with her. Like she carried it with her. She pulls it
She's
out.
like, everyone
Just in
remember
case I
what's going to
forgot.
happen. Yeah.
Yes. Brendan, this is a spot where Brendan would have pointed this out and said,
Well, yeah.
to
It's
show
same
the
thing
viewers, remember this?
Yeah, right.
The same thing with Landfield when they walk in. Like they've looked at this one drawing 1,000 times. They all know what it looks like.
It was also
This
in
is
the
beautiful.
last time, right? On the Wheel of Time. I
Right.
think they
Right.
showed that scene too.
It's TV.
And I feel like, right, so Min, right, in the beginning, it looks like she's leaving. She like going to run away because she seems pretty scared and freaked out because Chesmel's there. And then she comes back and hits Chesmel over the head. Not as many concussions this season as there were in season 2, but
Is Chesmel alive, you guys think?
I
I
that
think
didn't kill her.
so. Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, on TV, that doesn't kill you, but in real life, it could.
Not in this show.
it's true.
Not
I
even
can also
close
see
in
Ma-
this show.
I can
I know,
also see
but-
Matt just going, wait, before we leave, let me just
Yeah.
take care of
Not-
this right here.
Yeah, not
But-
one we have not seen one person die of getting hit in the head with something.
Yeah,
I don't
although
think.
most people in this season, get concussions and then are murdered later. Like the concussion then murder happens a lot in this season.
Yeah. All right, let's move on because I realize we're in Tenchico. We're still in Tenchico, and we haven't even talked. We've been talking for a long time already. Anyway, so I feel like, all right, so we get Min now trying to revive Matt. Watching this scene, I feel like they gave the direction to Kai Alexander to do everything you can to revive Matt, but try not to do anything that looks like CPR.
Yeah. Right.
Because she's like kind of shaking. It looks like she keeps wanting to perform CPR, but then like she stops herself and like does something else. And then
Well, she
eventually
breathes in his mouth.
Eventually,
once, but
she
not
breathes
well.
into his mouth once.
It reminded me. I don't know. Did you guys watch Lost?
No.
No.
There was an episode where like somebody was trying to bring somebody back from hanging, and it was like the same thing, like punching the guy's chest.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that in a lot of shows where they just punch somebody in the chest a bunch of times and then they come back to life. But I have no problem with that.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
But
I didn't think he
apparently,
was going to die. I wasn't worried.
apparently, Matt loses more memories than he bargained for
Yeah.
because he can't even remember how he got there.
Yeah.
I do wonder what that means going forward. Like, how much did he lose?
Yeah, I think we'll figure that out later on. There's also, we're going to be talking about this during the spoiler section for sure. And he got a nifty little medallion, and you heard the fox yelp when they showed the medallion.
Oh, you did? I
Yeah.
have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, it's a lot of fox yelping in this episode.
Before we step away from this, I did like when he started like choking him and his neck, like it was like he was really already hanging, like his neck
yeah.
got all tight,
Yeah.
like right before he pushed him out. He was like,
Oh,
"We'll set the
okay.
price," and he was like literally choking him.
Yeah, they kind of cut to like the same, almost the same shot. Like it went from the hands around the neck to the noose around the neck.
No, he didn't have his hands around his neck.
He force choked him.
Force
Yeah.
choke, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
force choke around the neck.
That's what.
All right, so we cut over to Leandrin, who wanders into the room that Nynaeve's searching, but Nynaeve's hiding. And Leandrin just gets so angry, she unknowingly throws the collar that she's looking for to the ground because, again, she doesn't really know what she's looking for. Leaves the room frustrated. Nynaeve sees it and says, "Oh yeah, this is what the Adam looks like," and takes it and proceeds to leave and wait for the others outside, even though she told them at the beginning, if you find it, get out. Don't wait for the others.
Yeah. Why is she waiting?
So she breaks her own rule or her own order. And Leandra comes outside and basically binds her with some chain, takes the collar. I like this little scene between the two of them where Nynaeve tries to empathize with her. But Leandra's like shutting it down. She's not having any of it. She's like, "Don't feel sorry for me."
Right.
She's like, I'm enjoying this Black Aja gig. I want to do this. So stop it. I did like that little scene. And she gives away not that she gives away, but she kind of reveals basically her plans as what every villain does before they try or attempt to kill somebody, right? She wants to be a Forsaken. She's gonna collar the Dragon Reborn and kill the strongest channeler in 1,000 years.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Dum.
Throws Nynaeve into the water. She waits for Nynaeve a little bit. Like she actually does like, oh, you're like, oh, look at this. Not like every other show where they just throw somebody in the water and leave the villains. She actually waits for a few seconds, and then leaves. But yeah, Nynaeve doesn't die. So do you think Nynaeve broke her block like for good?
Yeah.
Like she's good now?
Yes.
What
What makes you say that?
Because she channeled that she broke it. I don't know.
And she looked happy that she did it.
She made
finally?
she came to a realization of what she needed to do to channel.
Yes. Yeah.
Or okay.
She'd let go. Finally, she was like, I'm gonna die if I don't do it right now. I have to, and she was thinking about her daughter and everything.
How'd you feel about this scene? Like the whole her breaking the block and then her glorious parting of the sea.
Yeah. It was good. I kind of wish there was more after it.
This is another one of those. Yeah, this seems like
what you're really excited. I'm happy for you, but like she just walked away with the collar. Like the entire reason that you're here.
Why don't you
run after her? Yeah.
Yeah, this is another area where I feel like they needed another episode or a longer episode.
I have to say, honestly, it didn't work for me at all. Like the whole thing.
Well, because nothing gets resolved. This whole storyline, nothing gets resolved.
Yeah.
So like, all right, she breaks the block here. I think that's pretty confident. I don't know, like, does she break the block because she's gonna die? She break the block because she loves her daughter. I don't understand what the scene means. Like, I don't think the show does a good job of explaining like what her emotional status is while she's drowning that's causing her to now be able to channel. And I don't understand why she turned into Moses when she could. Like, I don't know what that visual was. Like, really, the entire thing didn't work for me at all, other than Leandrin being bad and killing her. Like, that part was good, but like it just really didn't land at all for me.
So I agree with you with the part where like, what was it that broke her block? I agree that it wasn't very clear. I was watching it again like earlier today, and I thought it was, I don't know. I was starting to think that it's because she's going back to like her daughter and how she says, close your eyes, basically trying to calm her daughter down. And I don't know if that's like, she finally gets it, like that she becomes calm. I don't know.
Right.
Or was it fear? Grace is saying in chat, she conquered her fear.
But like,
I don't know how. I don't know how that scene shows her conquering her fear.
Like, I know what I as a book reader want it to be, understanding like what it is in the show, but I don't think that it gives you a good, like, I just don't. I don't think it was edited well. I don't understand what like what she was doing. Her daughter didn't look afraid. It was like she was teaching her daughter to listen to the wind, and now that she's gonna do it, like, I don't know.
No, that was the scene when
she was carrying her through the.
Yeah, that was the scene.
Yeah, but that's not the first thing. Like, she's like, she does
okay.
that, but then she's also doing like her on the bridge, with, listening to the wind.
It's all her. That whole scene is her in the accepted test when right before she runs out with her.
Is it? I don't know. Okay.
Because she's telling her to close her eyes because she's gonna run through the the door, the archway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like that she was happy that she could channel. That's nice.
Yeah,
but
that's nice. I agree. Yeah, and I don't think it was because she was gonna die, because I would have thought that would be more of her struggling to live. Like, you would have saw more animation from her, like she's struggling, trying to get out, and like all of a sudden she just stops for a second, takes a breath, not really take a breath because she's underwater, and then channel. So I don't think it was from her fear
Like,
of death.
There's
I don't know.
a lot,
You're right.
Right, the season, right? There's a lot about like surrender and control. You have to surrender to the power. You have to control the power. What do you have to do to the power? Nothing that nothing that she does or thinks about to me is surrender, which is like the lesson that she needs to learn.
Ooh.
That's the thing. Like,
What
she
if-
doesn't surrender to anything. She just
What if
channels it. I don't know.
Right? The act that she does to take her daughter through the arch, right? To leave that world in the accepted test, right? She is kind of surrendering to like surrendering to the truth that she doesn't really belong here and she should leave no matter, even though she's really, really happy there. Although, to be honest with you, not at that moment, because
Not that
a bunch of
moment.
people just died. But she's coming to the realization that she can't stay there and surrendering basically the life of her daughter. So
Okay.
maybe that's connecting that back to that. Like, she's like, oh, I have to kind of reluctantly give in to this. I don't know.
Was she giving in like, I'm dead now? Like, it's over. I'm not gonna fight anymore. Like, I'm just gonna like finally let go, and then that's like the
Accept
moment
that.
when the channeling comes to her. Like,
Yeah, but then
She
why
was,
have
like,
those
I mean,
daughter flashbacks? Why have those
I hate
flashbacks
when
of
people-
her daughter for that?
a lot of times people are drowning on TV, and they're like she looked like she was dead. Like, she
Right.
struggled, she couldn't breathe. She was under there a
Right,
long
she-
time, and then
She
she
does
just
the
like,
limp thing. Yeah.
you know,
She
for,
gulps.
like,
Yeah, she
stop
takes the big
moving.
gulp.
And I was like, how are you not dead right now?
Yeah, I mean,
You
that's
drowned. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like too far.
that's just a TV thing, I think.
I know.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Tom. I was a little confused. I'm still not sure like what necessarily she did that she was able to channel. Like, she's
Yeah.
not afraid. I guess maybe she accepted her death and she's not afraid of dying anymore. And then that kind of connected over to not being afraid to channel.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess so. Like, the everything that she's done this season has been like people telling her like, you're trying to exert control when you shouldn't. You need to give it up. It's not a thing that you control, right? Like her on the boat, right? All that stuff. Like, it's so I guess, like, yeah, it's this ultimate like acceptance and surrender and like belief that like it's not about what Nynaeve wants, but what Nynaeve has to do, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
sorry.
back at the Lunault house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mogedian's there. Having so much fun with Leandrin. Mogedian's so much fun. Leia Costa's so much fun. Blowing raspberries and Leandrin tries to convince her to let her live, basically by saying, well, you're going to want weaker Forsaken around, right?
I love that.
But Mogedian takes the Adom, and we don't find out what happens to Leandrin. We see Mogedian at the end, right? There's a cut to Mogedian.
Yeah, I don't know what that cut is. It's weird. It's like she's looking at something. But
Yeah,
she's
does somebody
she's-
like walk in and she looks up and is a little surprised to see somebody, kind of. I don't know. What do you think about that shot? I thought that's what it was, because she looks up at something, and I would assume it's somebody came in the room.
Yeah, but there's no indication to what it is.
No, is it another Forsaken? Maybe.
Could be. But
Is it Leandrin? Where's Leandrin? What happened? She let Leandrin go?
So like, yeah, if they're gonna work
Samael.
together, if
Fine.
she's gonna let, she's
Survive.
gonna let Leandrin believe at least that they can work together, what as Leandrin wants, then where are the other people going on the boat? That's what's bothering me. Because what they should be doing is following like, the only reason that they would be on this boat is to chase Leandrin with the collar if she had left.
Oh, okay. That was your boat thing.
Yeah. So like, where, like Nynaeve comes out, smiles, she broke her block, doesn't chase after Leandrin. Leandrin just goes back to the house where everyone knows where she's staying,
Right.
and they don't do anything about it. And then the next thing we see, they're just leaving Tenchiko.
Yes, the
They're
whole
just
reason
like,
they came to
better luck next
Tenchiko.
time.
The whole
Like,
reason they
what?
came to
Yes.
Tenchiko was to get the bracelets and the collar. Then they just gave up.
Like, time for our next adventure. Like, what do you mean? You can't, unless, so the only thing that I can think is that Leandrin left with the collar, but if she's working with Mogedion, then that doesn't make much sense. I don't know. That bothered me. Like, where
Wow,
are they
Jen,
going?
I didn't even make this connection, but yeah, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I just felt like they left it like nothing resolved, which they didn't. You're right, but like, why are they leaving though? Then
I mean, well, to be fair, Mogedion knows where Rand is. She could have sent Leandrin to go somewhere to get him.
why show that shot of her though at the end and not like Leandrin or something?
I don't know.
That was just like like these people are still out there doing stuff.
Well,
it was like a throwaway. I know, but it was like seeing Fael and like Bane and Shiat. Like, okay, we didn't need to see that. Like, they're gonna go after Perrin. I can't believe it. Like, that was you could have saved 4 seconds on that one. Like, not put that in. They're gonna be in the next season. What?
Yeah.
That story's not finished. I don't know. It's just like it was just like a wrap up of everybody. Like,
Yeah.
So,
Tom's not on the boat, or at least we don't see him on the boat. I feel like that was done purposely because they
don't know what they're gonna do. Right?
They don't know if they're gonna bring him back or
No.
not, or put him in the next season. Maybe I don't know.
Rafe said in his AMA on Instagram that Tom is on the boat. I think it's more likely that they just filmed that scene when they were all on the boat the first time, so like he wasn't there.
Oh,
but like,
I didn't.
Yeah.
I read the Q&A. I didn't see that one.
He tagged the actor in
he tagged him in the boat.
He tagged him in the boat. Okay. Yeah. Well, I was like, my thought on that was even more like
Tom bombed them in.
Yes. Oh man, now somebody's got to go make that the boat shot of the boat and just have Tom's head sticking out there. I thought it was just like they don't know what they're gonna do if Tom's gonna be able to come back or whatnot, and they just let's not put him on the boat.
Like they're leaving Tenchiko, so we'll see where they end up next time.
I mean, look, Matt's got to win his hat. I feel like that hat has got to get off of Tom's head at some point.
I thought
Too good.
like he was just gonna like pick the head up after Tom died. So I'm really excited that didn't happen.
Yeah. But let's see. This is Matt has a hat in the books. That's sorry.
Spoiler
for the books. Matt has a hat.
Oh well, I'll bleep this out.
Yeah. All right. And then
Matt has a bleep in the books.
Can we move over to the White Tower storyline?
Oh yeah, sure.
Sure.
We spent the whole hour on Tenchiko, basically. The White Tower one's short though. Right, Lyanna warns Swan. Looks like Swan and Moraine are writing letters to each other still, because Swan knows that the tower has to. Oh no! Well, she knew that right back. I'm trying to remember. Did she tell her that when they met in Tel Riyadh?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Okay, so not necessarily a letter.
That's why she went to Tel Riyadh.
No, I think she was writing letters to the leaders of Randland. Not
yes. Oh no, yeah, she was definitely doing that.
She was just thinking about Moraine.
Yes,
she was looking at the little portal.
So she's sending letters to different leaders in the continent, basically saying that the White Tower supports the Dragon Reborn. She does this without consulting anybody else.
Yeah,
Lyanna is a bit pissed about it, and spoiler alert. So are some other people. And we get the scene of Elaida asking Alviarin to help again. I want to ask this question: why the change of heart? Why does Alviarin help this time? I don't know if you want to keep that answer that now.
No,
or
why does Elaida ask Alviarin to help again?
Again, yeah.
Why doesn't she just start and like go to Galena, go to Sutama, like stick with right? But why even bother with Alviarin?
So here's
she needs
the votes.
She needs the votes, and
she needs another.
So well, we know why she go. We know why Alviarin goes with her this time, right? Because you find out that Alviarin's the keeper now, right? So she must have. So was that like the mistake you think that Elaida made the first time? Like this time, she's like, I'm going to offer her the keeper to get her support, and that's why it worked.
I
Maybe.
don't think necessarily.
Also,
that.
like let us not forget, Swan's awful at her job. Like
That's true.
Alviarin's a logical person by Aja purposes.
That's true.
I would, if there's an opportunity to get her out, like, take it.
That's true. It is a logical sense this time for sure. I thought maybe it was like Elida learned from her mistake and offered her to be keeper this time.
I think there's definitely like there's Aes Sedai politicking going on here, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, which I will say is very, it's not spoilery, but that's not. I feel like in the books, had that ever happened before? That a different Aja?
It's very rare. It's very rare, and it's usually for exactly these kind of situations where like the person taking the seat needs the help to get the seat.
Yeah, from another Aja. Okay. Right, we learned that 8 Red Sisters leaves the tower. It's a trap, right?
Yes.
Elida. This is Elida concocting with the Red Aja to because she knows that Swan will go send some of her staunchest supporters after them, thus getting them out of the tower so they can't vote. I'm sure there were a bunch of sitters that were included. Even Varen doesn't figure this one out. Shame on Varen.
Nope.
Yeah. I like that scene though when Galena reveals, she's like, "Oh, we're doing our job to keep you out of the tower." Gotcha. We get the Elida deposing Swan. She's been accused as a dark friend, which is interesting because it's never brought up. Like Elida never mentions it before in any of the other scenes we see her conspiring. So I thought that was kind of an odd choice to accuse her of being a dark friend.
Elida does think that Swan set her up to get killed.
I think she says, I think she kind of,
even though Swan's like, oh, I misestimated.
She saved her though. Why would she come and save her then?
But Elida does say like, you sent me here on purpose.
She did send her there on purpose. She didn't think she was going to get attacked
like, from
by
Elida's point of view, like that could be evidence that like you sent me here to die.
Yeah. She uses the same tactics that Swan used against Leandrin, right? Only 11 sitters. No one from the blue is there.
Yes.
Swan gets stilled, but it seems like Leane is spared.
She's shielded.
She's shielded, and we don't see her. She's there when they come back to the tower after.
I have to say, she goes over my dead body, and I was like, "Ooh, choose your words carefully."
Yeah,
it's not the time to throw that phrase around.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's that's our last bit.
Then we get the emotional scene of Swan kind of telling the truth. Giving them all the backstory of what's been going on. This is a great performance. I love this is a really good scene. Yeah. Sophie really did a good job here for sure. Gives that wonderful, powerful speech. Even Elida looks kind of shaken. Like if you notice when they cut to her, she's kind of like shocked a bit.
Yeah.
But it falls on deaf ears because she's sentenced to death and gets decapitated.
That was.
Elviara's like, yeah, you're a dark friend.
I have a question. Yeah. So, and I know Brendan would get angry at me for asking this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We all know that Swan isn't really a dark friend.
Right.
And Aes Sedai cannot use the one power as a weapon against another Aes Sedai. Right?
But what if they believe they're a dark friend?
Yes, that's the question. Yeah. Is it because they actually believe it? So I don't remember in the books, like, is the breaking up, can the oaths be broken if you believe it, or is it more of a fact?
No,
fiction
it's
type
what you
thing?
believe. It's what you believe.
Okay.
Right. One, it's what you believe, and two, it's in defense of your life, right? So like Aes Sedai kill each other, right? Like when there's reason to like protect
Yeah,
yourself.
but that's clearly not the situation here.
Yeah, no, this is like she's a dark friend.
Well, I guess she's not an Aes Sedai anymore at this point either, right?
Well, it's not. I said you can't use the one power as a weapon against anybody.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Except Shadowspawn and Dark Friends. Yeah,
friends or in defense of you or your warder's life. Right?
Yeah. So
I was my brother texted me at like 5 a.m. this morning, to ask me that. Like, I said I couldn't kill anybody. How did Alviar and he asked me like, why don't the people follow those rules? And so I had to like, while I'm, getting ready to take a shower in the morning, I'm like, no, she's dark friend, whatever. But so I worked this out by answering your question.
Okay, good. I'm glad. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember because I feel like this came up before, and I know Brendan had a lot to say about that. And thus Swan ends her story here in the Wheel of Time. Shall we cut to the IOAs? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, Rafe again kind of made reference, I think, in an interview or somewhere, I'm not sure, since things are out, that like if they get the full run of the show, she may come back somehow. I don't know how that would be. A dream, I don't know, something. But never say never.
Yeah, Rafe did say that right in the Q&A that she's not gone forever.
Right.
I don't know if that just means like flashbacks or something like that, but yeah. All right, and let's head over to the IO Waste where we get the big finale, which kind of actually this runs concurrently with the White Tower and at the end at least. So right, Samael's been captured and shielded by Moraine. We learn that he was a great general in his day, visionary Forsaken Samael. Moraine wants him to train Rand, so that's the plan. I guess she's going to force him to train Rand, which is a good idea. Too bad.
Why even this? I don't know.
All right, I agree. I feel like like just for Moghedien to kill a Forsaken, like why is any of this happening?
But why even bring up? I don't care that like she kills him. I know you like him, but like
this is other than the part about the rug in episode 3 or whatever. This person is nothing. He's not Samael.
Like why even bring up the teaching thing if it's just gonna be literally the next time we see him he's dead. Dead.
Well,
and Rand doesn't seem to need to be taught anything. He seems to know.
And where is he? Did they like leave him in a cave and then go to Al-Khair Dal?
He's in the cave.
Is he
with,
in like
Logain?
With Logain, is he in like Cold Rock's hold?
I guess so.
And then they go to Al-Khair Dal. So how far is that? How far? What's the distance between Al-Khair Dal and the cave where they're holding a Forsaken shielded and Moraine just can leave and hold the shield tied off? She doesn't.
It's tied off. You don't have to hold anything. And he says they say that right in that scene.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Him. It's a tied off shield. She ties it off,
but she doesn't have to be in the vicinity. It's just like
no, when you tie off a weave, it just stays there forever unless someone unravels it.
It just seems like somebody that you'd want to keep your eye on.
You would think.
But I think they've got more pressing matters with Lanfear. Which is
equally pressing. I don't know.
So here's my thought on this whole thing, right? So there's the scene where they play Lanfear, right? I have a lot of problems with this scene, this whole running of the scene. One, why is Egwene the one going in there to like dissipate Lanfear and not super experienced Dreamwalkers? My only thought on this was like they did it to infuriate Lanfear more. That's my one thought on it, just because it's Egwene.
Like Egwene did it, now you have to.
Yes, like now that makes her even more pissed because it's Egwene.
It should have been Bear pretending to be Egwene in the dream.
Yeah, that's true. Bear could have just been Egwene in the dream.
Maybe it was, guys. We don't know.
No, it wasn't because they wake up together.
Good job, Egwene.
Yeah.
Egwene had to do something.
Then you get this big climax where they're all like, all right, we're getting ready for Lanfear. I
she
guess
didn't come.
like they wait 5
It's like
seconds
10
and they're like,
seconds.
she
Yeah.
she didn't come now. I guess she's not coming.
Rand's like, she's coming. She's definitely coming. And there's like a circle where they expect her to appear. Like she has to teleport into it.
Yeah,
Like or get like beamed up like a spaceship. And then Land's just like, forget it. Let's go.
Yeah, they're just like, I forget it.
Whatever.
We're not waiting for
weird.
her all day.
That was really weird.
It was. And my other thought was, why would you try to piss off Lanfear and draw her out now? Why don't you do that after Rand declares an Alcair doll so she's not in such a bad mood?
Yeah. We don't want anything to mess up you declaring yourself an Alcair doll. Yeah, but let's infuriate Lanfear and make her an enemy before we even do that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like I would like
just do that afterwards.
Keep on her good side for like as long as possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like trick her.
Like he should be totally playing her at this point. Like he should have just went in the dream world.
He can't play people.
Rand isn't capable of it. I mean, he would. Yeah, whatever. I would have just. Yeah. Let's deal with this after I do a really important thing I need to do.
Wait, I'm about to get hundreds of thousands of warriors on my side. No. Let me fight the Forsaken first.
Let's piss off Lanfear first, right before that. So I thought the timing was also very bad. So I didn't like any of this. I mean, I like Lanfear and Rand's conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, that scene was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Everything else in this, I was like, why is this happening? No, this is a dumb plan. They made so many mistakes during that whole setup. Thankfully, nobody died from it. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. Actually.
So there's a good thing here, though, that in that conversation, right? Lanfear talks about why Lews Therin broke up with her. She says Lews Therin made the whole world bow except for her. And then at the end, you get everybody bowing to Rand except for Egwene.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I don't believe everything Lanfear says about Lews Therin.
Well, no, of course not.
That's why he broke up with me. And he's like, no, it's because you're like a jealous, cruel monster.
Because you're not Ilyena, that's why.
Yeah, right. Like,
Ilyena. Where are we? Yeah. All right. Oh, Melindra's a dark friend. This is another, they could have cut all of Melindra out and anything that she did in the whole season, and it wouldn't have made one bit of a difference, nor did it really add anything to. I mean, they did this to give Daniel Henney more stuff to do.
I mean, it might.
That's it. That's the only reason.
Later seasons, it might help.
It looks like it looks like this is setting him up for what he's doing next, because she's dies to give him a mission. She literally is she dies. She's like, do it, bring it back, whatever. I think that's what he's gonna go do.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like we could have did without any of this. And I have a question about her breaking, from a technical perspective, when does she officially cross the line of breaking her oath that she dies immediately, losing her soul?
When she tells him that.
Also, can't you not break your oath? Isn't it a magical oath?
Well, I guess this oath is if you break it, you'll die and your soul will burn forever, and so that's why people don't break it.
That changes something that happens later on in the books, but we'll put a pin in that, I guess. Morgedian visits Samael.
God.
Whatevs.
She just wants to figure out how to kill a Forsaken, as if she.
It seems like it was pretty easy.
I think she knew already. I think she was just angry at Samael and wanted him out of the picture. I think she was just messing with him when she said that.
But why?
Because she's fucking crazy.
Why was she angry at him?
Because they all plotting against her. Remember she's hiding when they all have that conversation?
I guess.
Yeah, but nobody agrees to it.
Yeah.
No, but does he? I can't remember if he says some insulting things, but
he insults her.
Does she really
to be afraid of a little spider?
Does Morgedian really need a lot of
No, she's just a cuckoo. Yes. She's
Yeah,
You know.
she saw one of the Forsaken in a very vulnerable position and was like, this is what she does, right? She only strikes when she has a really severe advantage. And she's like, oh, look at this. Sitting duck. I can kill him easily and get rid of one of my competition who's more powerful than me. Even though they keep saying he's the weakest, but he's not. She's the weakest.
Right. He's the next weakest. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
We got a really great scene here with Rand and Moraine. This whole conversation. I love this scene. I love their whole conversation. I have a couple of questions though I want to ask, right? If Moraine didn't think she was going to die, do you think she would have been so forthcoming and kind of apologetic and answer all of Rand's questions?
No.
Jen?
I'm distracted because you skipped a bunch of stuff.
I did skip a bunch of stuff?
Yeah. Like.
Oh, I did.
Shido.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I did skip a whole bunch of stuff. Sorry.
But
wait. Sorry.
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
Let's go back. You're right, Jen. I'm sorry. I got lost in my notes. We got the Ruark, the trip to Arkadal, right? Ruark gives some exposition. He warns Rand not to tell anybody what he saw in Meridian. It would be very, very bad. So, of course, we know Rand's going to do it. Then there's like that quick conversation between Avienda and Elaine about like, Egwene, that she doesn't have to follow him because, one, because she's not AEL, two, because Rand slept with the Forsaken.
Right.
And Moraine thinks today's a good day to die. It's fun because that scene, it's 3 conversations happen on the walk. They're all kind of close to each other as they're walking. And the conversations appear to be very loud, but we're meant to believe that nobody else can hear what they're saying. Each group is saying.
Well, that's TV.
That's a TV thing right there.
Right. So we did that in episode 3 when Nynaeve walks 2 feet away from Galad and has a secret conversation
with Matt, right?
Right. Like he's in frame and they're like, look, don't tell anyone. Right.
Yeah, well, we also talk about, right, in was it episode 5 with all the conversations in Tanchico? They're just having super loud conversations.
Yeah.
Right. Or
episode 1 too.
There's another part in the waste where they're all like 15 feet away from each other, just talking in one-on-one conversations that the other people can't hear. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
So we get to Alcair-Dal, Couladin and Savannah are there. Lanfear shows up. She gives Couladin some dragon tattoos because she's really pissed at Rand now and wants Couladin to declare himself as Kara-Karan. That other woman, which I assume she was just a wise one, like maybe a Shido wise one, right? I couldn't really tell. I was trying to. I didn't see her before, but I guess she's a wise one.
Savannah reminds me of Maya Rudolph as Donatella Versace. Did you ever see that? Like,
I don't think I've seen her.
Yeah.
That's and what I think. I think she looks like Maya Rudolph, and that's what she reminds me of every time I see her. I love it.
That's spot on.
Oh man, somebody put a picture in Discord.
You have to see the video.
I've never seen her as Donatella Versace.
That's really good, Jen.
Then we get the scene of Melindra coming to kill Lan. That's what threw me off. I went back to my notes, I went back to that part. Right, we heard about that. So then we get the scene of Rand and Moraine reconciling. I was asking, Tom, you answered yes, that you think Moraine only apologizes to Rand and answers his question and is straight with him because she thinks she's going to die that day. Jen, do you think that's the case too? Sorry.
Yeah, I think she's definitely like more vulnerable with him. She wants to make sure he's okay without her.
I want to believe that the conversation would have played out pretty much the same, even if she didn't think she was going to die.
It's part of what she saw. I feel like everything she saw and everything he saw kind of like brings them together, even without like the death. The death is part of what she saw, but I think just like
I think you're definitely right in that. But I think if she didn't think she was going to die, like, there's no way Moraine at the beginning of this season would have been like, yes, only you go and talk to them. When he says, I want you to be at my side. She's like, no, do it by yourself. Like,
I don't think that has anything to do. I think that's just
100%. Like, you're going to have to start to do things by yourself because I won't be here tomorrow. Like,
I don't think that's why she does it. I think she knows like that it would,
well,
it would hurt his cause if she was there while he's trying to declare himself as Kara Karn.
Yes, I agree. But I don't think she would have recognized that about herself had she not had to come to grips this season. Thank you, Jeff Tillman, with the fact that that she won't be there for the end. I think like that reckoning has caused her to recalibrate how she treats him. I think that all of it has to do with that. Like, that's what changes her character this season is that knowledge.
Yeah, I'd like to. Okay, I mean, you're probably right, but I would really like to think that she would. Maybe it wouldn't happen exactly the same, but she would apologize to him and also, be forthcoming and honest with him, regardless of. I mean, it does the thinking you're going to die is going to cause you to rethink things. So
right? Well,
I would say indirectly, right? It causes that because I don't think she's saying it because she's going to die. I think she's saying it because she's rethought things. Because she thinks she's going to die.
Yes,
and she's come to realization that I need to be better or act differently in this relationship.
I agree, right? Like, I think that's at the beginning of the Rodian episode, right? And Rand's like, I need you to say, like, you're going to trust me and my decisions. You're not going to try and she can't do it. And now she can, And yeah, I don't think it's like, I'm only doing it because I'm going to die. But yes, I think the fact that she had to confront the fact that she's not going to be there for the end has caused her to reevaluate herself.
Yeah.
Her relationships.
I like this whole part where he's like, when he asked Moraine if she was trying to drive a wedge between him and Lanfear or him and Egwene, and she's like, both. And he's like, it worked. And she's like, yeah, I know. I love that whole exchange right there. That was perfect. The two of them were perfect for that. He's like just figuring it out, and she's like, "Yeah, this I planned all of this." Like that was. She's like, "Oh, the bubbles of evil at the beginning, the axe, the mirror." She's like, "Yeah, me, all me." No.
Right. I mean, Lanfear, but through me, really.
Yeah. I love that whole scene. We get his appreciation of her and understands finally like her motivation and what she wants, and realizes that like, hey, we both want the same exact thing, and you've been there the whole time. So I don't know. I really liked this scene a lot. I thought it was really well acted. The dialogue was great, and I don't know. I think it was one of those scenes that I felt was important and needed. So
yeah, I do too. Yeah, I'll put a pin in it. There's something else I want to talk about it a little bit later.
Jen, I have in my notes, Lanfear is dressed as Maleficent.
Awesome.
And that was it, for the one scene. They used that. Did they waste the costume for that one scene?
Waste?
No, you know what I mean. Like, why didn't we get more of that costume?
Was she wearing
you think she was wearing
like
part
the
of
bottom of it, or like, and she took off the headdress and stuff?
I don't know. It was hard to tell. It was a bit dark in that cave.
I was like, what the hell is she wearing?
Yeah, very maleficent. The two of them, her and Ravin find dead Samael. Sorry, Tom. R.I.P. Samael.
Whatevs.
You thought they were going somewhere with this, and then they said, nope, not going there. But it looks like Lanfear's going to be working with Ravin in the future. Maybe they form an alliance. Lanfear wants Rand dead now. Seems like the two of them have something in common now. So, season 3, Lanfear and Ravin.
Season 4.
Take on the world. Season 4, sorry. Take on the world. All right. Couladin declares himself Karakarn. Rand counters with some prophecy. And Rand does what Ruark tells him not to do and spills the beans about the Aiel origins, which causes a split in the Aiel. Literally, they run to opposite sides.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people who scatter who are like, oh, wait, I'm on the wrong side, and run across. There's like, how many clans are there? They said 4 clans there?
4 plus the Shido. So 5.
Plus the Shido? Okay, so there's
so.
5 clans there, but they break up into 2 sides. I'm not sure what.
It's mostly just the Shido.
The Shido on the right and everybody else.
Well, yeah. I had a question.
They're in darker clothes. It's easier to.
But they were dark. I was going to ask that because it looked like some of them were wearing like black hide and sword, but they were people wearing black hide and sword on both sides of that split. Yeah. So then I was like, maybe it's more of like a sept or a society thing. Maybe the darker hide and sword. Maybe the stone dogs wear it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was happy that Couladin got to say, "I am holy," which is my favorite Couladin line.
Oh, that's from the book? I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rand's trying to be like, Couladin, you know, if you went through Iridian, why don't you tell them? And he's like, no, you won't fool me.
Yeah.
That's holy. It's sacred. I can't say. We're not supposed to speak about that. Not that I don't know. What it
you
is.
don't. I know. You don't. I know. You don't know. I know, but I know.
Yeah.
But how? Like, there's no one that would know if he went through Freudian.
Well, there should be people who would know that, but
like,
but if these 100,000 people are on my side, you guys better shut up.
But who's to say he didn't go through? Like, only somebody who was with him the whole time would know that he didn't go there. And it seems like Savannah might be one of the only people. Right? He could have just... Theoretically, he could have went to Iridian. We know he didn't, but...
I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's more than one way to get there, but yeah.
Well, they leave Ruidian, though. Like, everybody else leaves Ruidian.
Yeah, but the Shido leave first. So, like, could they get to Ruidian without... the Tardad noticing? I don't know.
Maybe they didn't all leave Ruidian.
On the back.
On the other side, end ground.
Yeah, we went.
Yeah, whatever.
And then we get the showdown between Lanfear and Moraine. You gotta appreciate Lanfear for trying to choke Moraine with the one power instead of just shooting like one of Leandrin's mind bullets at her.
Right.
Torture suffer.
Yeah, I don't know.
You weren't too keen on this whole...
No, I didn't like any of it. I have the most powerful Forsaken and somebody with the most powerful Sangreal. I want a giant one power battle, not what ends up being a sword fight between 2 super powerful channelers. No, this didn't land for me at all.
This didn't land for me either, and not even because of that. It was just like... Lanfear stands around there and just watches Moraine pull the sword. It was like a WWE scripted match.
It was like when
Moraine starts pulling the sword out very slowly, and Lanfear's just standing there like, oh.
Lanfear knows how to like blow people's heads off their bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, why did you just immediately do that to Lan? Lan in 2 seconds could have been dead.
Blow him up.
Yeah.
Like, Lan should not have been able to get a slice in on her.
No, a slice in is fine. But like, as he's flying away, his body parts should be exploding. Right? Like, it's not like Moraine's keeping her busy enough.
Yeah.
That like that's what I'm saying. This should be like there's so many weaves going back and forth between the 2 of them that Lanfear doesn't have time to do anything else. Like, that's what it should be, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like Lanfear should have been doing, right? She's like holding the shield against Lan, right? And then I think Moraine kind of comes in behind her. Like, she has to drop her shield against Lan to block what Moiraine's doing, and that's when Lan hits her. And I'm like, she should be able to do two shields.
I can understand, like, yeah, like maybe it's so powerful with the sangreal, but like, whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of that vibe for me for the whole episode. This didn't land at all. I didn't like the way that this fight went. It should not have. And I know, whatever, it was foreshadowed with all the stabby deaths in the rings, but like, I don't know.
So did Moiraine misinterpret her visions? Is that what we're led to believe? Like right. So I don't think Maureen's dead, right? We've seen how many other people get injured worse than her this season and be fine afterwards. So,
and she's talking at the end. It's her voice doing the voiceover, right? It's not like her grave.
Yeah. I don't know if that didn't have any bearing for me on whether
she wouldn't die off screen.
Yeah, I don't.
No, we know, right? Loyal got stabbed with a magical dagger that's supposed to kill everybody instantly, and he was fine. And they did not address it at all. So I have no.
The only person who gets stabbed and dies immediately is
Yvonne.
Yvonne. That's it.
That's it. Even Leandra gets two swords.
Tom, the guy from episode 101.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the axe.
Well, that was a big old Trolloc poisoning.
It's gotta go through her chest. Like from here,
no,
stomach.
It was her stomach. It was her stomach.
So it just went right around all the vital organs.
Well, in your stomach,
went right through her back, through her spine. No, she's good. She's perfect.
She got right
missed the spine.
She got right below,
right around the spine,
below the lungs, above the kidneys, right in that sweet spot.
It's a gallbladder injury. It's bad.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
Listen, Leandra gets two swords in her in the beginning of the season, and she's fine.
But she gets healed immediately.
Maureen's gonna get healed. Lan's gonna bring her to the wise ones, or Egwene, or one of the wise ones is gonna heal her. She's gonna be fine.
We're kneeling. We're kneeling now. No. Just just give her a quick healeroo. Yeah, it's like she's alive the last time you see her. There's no reason to think that she's dead.
No, she's alive.
And again, not to be, this is what like Rafa said in post-show interviews that she is not dead. Like she's alive. Like,
yeah, it's clear she's alive. She's not. This show, like I said, if you watched all 3 seasons of this show, you know she's not dead. Right. Even this just one season. I mean, Alana's gotten how many things stabbed in her this season, and she still made it through. So,
Skeeter true.
What did Skeeter say?
Hashtag quick healeroo.
Quick healeroo.
We all need one every now and again.
Healeroo.
So
Brendan needs one if anyone can give him one.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Now this scene is happening. It's cutting back and forth between this and Swan's speech. Right. Moiraine feels Swan's death. And unfortunately, I was confused by this and thought maybe there was some sort of secret water bond between the two of them until people pointed out to me, no, it's because of the oath that she swears to Swan in the first season. I guess like since Swan dies, it releases her of the oath, and she felt the oath release and thought the only way that this could happen is if Swan dies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, and Rafe said as much in his Q&A that this is what happened. So everyone who figured that out, thank you, because I did not make that connection. I thought there might have been a secret, like they had some sort of secret bond on each other, like a water bond, but
yeah,
just an oath bond.
But then she just pulled the sword out of her body.
And Lanfear watched.
What is the phrase you used in the recap, Jen? Was it grief?
Oh, she got super grief powers.
Super grief powers. Yeah,
super grief powers.
She does, and then she does the Rand season 2 channel into the sword thing, which is I guess is the real key.
Yeah.
Which is what she should have done. They shouldn't have had her use her hand. She should have just, I was watching it. I'm like, she should just channel it out. That would have been so much cooler if you don't even see her grab the sword that she channels and pulls the sword out with her channeling.
She can't, channels with her hands, but doesn't pull the, because I was going to say she can't channel without using her hands.
No, I mean, she like.
Egwene.
Yeah. What is she? One of the Cawthon girls?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. She does. And she does Rand's move. Because I think that whatever weave that is to heat the sword up white, that's the real kill Forsaken move. And that's when Lanfear is like, peace. She gets out.
I thought for a split second when she was doing that was Calendor. Then I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's a male. But I didn't see. Apparently that's Lan's sword.
Yeah.
That's
How did she get it?
They didn't
Lan
show
comes
that part.
in slices her, and then it flies out of his hand when he gets thrown away.
And she grabs it?
You don't you don't see any of that really, but
it's just there next to Lanfear, so she picks it up.
Yeah, it's definitely Lan's sword. Yes, the where we didn't see her pick it up. I didn't even see Lan drop it, to be honest with you, but that's definitely
he was going like this.
Yeah.
You know,
and
for those
again,
of you listening, I mimed Lan flying through the air.
And like, is now she, I don't know. Is this more of a hey, we're battling so hard with the power that you've kind of let your guard down for an actual physical weapon that I could stab you with? Or it looks like she actually breaks through Maureen's shield with her with the one power and then stabs her with the sword. I don't know. Why using a sword? Like you said, Tom, they're one of the most powerful channelers, if not the most powerful female channeler, and somebody who's somewhat powerful and has the most powerful magical amplifier. And,
she walks right up to her, just stabs her.
And we get in the beginning, she's choking Maureen with the one power, and then she stabs her with the sword.
I can understand Lanfear wanting to make it a little bit more personal, but you've seen what the Somgirl can do when she's just fucking around with it.
Yeah.
And she levels 3 city blocks of desert, right?
I liked that one shot when Maureen shoots the fireballs at her and Lanfear's floating in the air with the shield in front of her. That's what I wanted to see more of.
Yes.
That was awesome. That's what I wanted more of. But again, the whole showdown between Lanfear and Moiraine, it was a little flat. I agree with you.
Yeah. I can see Lanfear saying well, you stabbed me, I'm going to stab you. Right?
Yeah.
A little tit for tat action.
The her watching Maureen pull the sword out though was just this.
You nailed it 100%, right? It was when Hulk's hulking up. And the bad guy's just I don't know what to do.
Yes, exactly.
She's serious now.
She was so stunned, but she got away.
Serious, and then she
gets away though.
She gets away.
Yeah, Maureen hulks up, pulls the sword out, and becomes Hulk Hogan, slices her, and she teleports out of there.
Yeah.
Rand makes it rain.
That's right.
Yes.
All the Aiel bow to him. He's the Kara Karn. Everyone bows except for Egwene. I originally took this when I first watched it that it was just because she's not an Aiel, so the Kara Karn doesn't mean anything to her.
Yeah, why would she kneel to him here?
But I feel like everyone else is talking about it meaning so much more about how she's not going to bow. Because there was the conversation with her and Avienda about you shouldn't bow to him or that's your choice or whatever. And then the Lanfear, comment about her not bowing to Lews Therin. That being mirrored here. So yeah, I don't know. I just I took it at face value and was just she's not Aiel. She's not gonna bow.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, the more important thing to me, and honestly, my favorite thing in the episode is this last bit where twice in this season, Rand is lost in the madness of channeling, and first Egwene, then Moiraine, tells him to let it go, and he does. And both of those, to be fair, are also with physical contact, I believe. No, the first time it's not, but Moiraine it is. Here, it ends with her going, let it go, and he's just channeling, and it cuts to black, and that's the best part of the episode. Is that
the cliffhanger? Does he let go, or does he keep?
Yeah, well, I mean, or more like he's done listening and taking advice. He's embracing everything. To be the Kara Karn, to be the dragon. He in the beginning, he talks about how it's a constant temptation that he's constantly trying to fight because it's so good and whatever. And he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to lose himself to it. And now he's nope, this is me. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah, sorry. No, that's it. That was, I just thought that was a very, obviously they wanted to end this with a bunch of hey, the bad guys are winning cliffhangers.
Yeah, this was a return of the Jedi season. Is that what I mean?
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back season.
Yeah. But
I mean,
that's the best one. It's just like he's no longer like he's no longer someone that you could predict what he's gonna do.
Yeah, but I also feel like in the scene with Moraine, you like he's clearly like understands his role like better and what he's gonna do, and he seems like he's got a clearer path or how he wants to attack this whole Dragon Reborn card thing, and has come kind of a bit of peace with it. And then you get a kind of conflicting thing here with, and is that like the one?
I don't think it's conflicting. I think that like he understands now, in order to be the Dragon Reborn and to be the Kara Karn, he has to be a male channeler. He can't run from that. He can't hide from that. He has to embrace that that's part of what this is. And that means he's going to go mad. Like, and like, that's like, I think that's part of what he's embraced. That's his fate. So
I didn't say this already, but this is a perfect point to bring it up, right? That's right before that scene, the beginning of the scene with Moraine and Rand having that conversation, right? Rand is staring out into the desert and it looks like he sees somebody, and then it cuts back and then there's nobody there.
When does that happen? When he's in Al-Khayr Dal? It's
right before the scene between Rand and, yes, it's right before his conversation with Moraine, before he goes to, it's, yeah, thank you, Holger. There's the picture. I also have like a full screen. I'll put it in chat here.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Of course.
Jen, I can't believe you didn't notice.
Well, no, Jen, he's standing.
I'm just one of the out of focus guys.
No, Jen, he's standing
would
there.
Like that joke.
The Kate shot here. Rand is looking. He's just standing there in the tent or in front of the tent, looking out into the dunes, and you see a guy appear here. It cuts back to I think Moraine coming up behind him, and then it cuts back. It shows him again looking at the dunes, and then there's nobody there.
You know what that looks like to me?
Is Shamael?
It does. It does. That's exactly what I was going to say. It looks like a Shamael from season 1.
It does look like shiny, a Shamael.
Like what?
It's like Fire Eyes, a Shamael.
There's no fire eyes though, and that close.
No, but it looks like that. It looks like that attire. You know?
I don't like that picture. It's scaring me. It's
so don't look at it.
That's so creepy.
Yeah. So he's seeing things, maybe. So maybe he is going a little crazy.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nice, Jed. Nice.
Yeah. All right, we get those final cut shots, right, with Moraine's narration, right? Elida's redecorating the Amerlin study. She takes down the little love shack to your Angreal.
Yeah. We don't need that anymore.
We talked about Moghedien. Then we get the Fail, Bane, and Chiad. It look like they're following the White Cloaks. I wonder if this qualifies for Brendan as for lowering the previous episode's
We're going to find out soon.
Because Perrin wasn't in the scene.
Right.
And it really didn't do it. It didn't really add much, as we said before, because
I'm wondering, is it the same shot of the three of them looking at the Waygate?
No, I don't think they probably shot it at the same time.
Right, just stand by this tree now, and we'll get like a slightly different angle on you.
We're just gonna turn the camera this way.
Yes.
Let's go. Right. All right. Good job.
I agree with you.
You're probably right. I said the same thing about the boat in this scene.
Yeah.
It's just to say they were on the boat.
Yeah.
Let's just do this shot too, guys. And same.
I agree. And thus ends season 3 of The Wheel of Time. All right. Do you want to read Brendan's thoughts now?
Sure.
Okay.
First things first. I'm not gonna do it first. All right. Even though technically already got one this season, the lack of an Age of Legends flashback in the cold open was very disappointing.
I told you he was going to be upset.
Yeah. Overall, I felt like the episode was kind of a mess on a technical structural level. Like the previous 2 season finales, I felt like they had to cram 2 hours of story into 1 hour of show.
Yes.
So there was just a lot of quick cutting and just a lot of scenes and so much stuff going on. The IO waste section is the most glaring example. There's like a half season's worth of plot advancement in those scenes, and almost none of it gets to really land because they have 3 other storylines to get to. It's just back to the old problem of this show not using its time all that well. But at the same time, even though too much stuff happened, I kind of liked all of it. Swan being bad at her job the whole time pays off by her getting handily outfoxed and at long last Julius Caesar.
Outfoxed.
Nice, yeah. And Brendan's been predicting that something like this would happen to Swan.
Yeah.
You know, for since season 2. Elida continued being technically good while also being flat out evil. Tom continues being the most interesting man in the world. Nynaeve finally gets her powers back. Rand does the Dune 84 ending. Moraine fake dies twice, then doesn't, because of course she doesn't. And most importantly, Matt stumbles through a random portal and meets some sort of malevolent fox genie, which is exactly the kind of weird magic nonsense I want out of a fantasy story. Overall, a poorly made episode full of stuff I thought was great is at least as good as a well-made episode full of stuff I didn't care about, like last week. So, same score, 4 stars.
All right. Go, Brendan. Thank you, Brendan. You did not disappoint. I feel a lot like Brendan feels. I already talked about how I feel like it was 2 episodes worth of stuff crammed into 1 episode. I did like a lot of the scenes independently in this, right? I love the Moraine and Rand conversation. I like the whole Swan speech at the end and the cutting back and forth. I love Nynaeve breaking. While it was confusing as to why Nynaeve broke her block or what was the impetus for it, I liked her breaking her block scene. Like I said, I like the whole idea that Leandrin and the Black Aja are looking for the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked, though, more of resolution to some of the storylines, like they just leave dead Chico after not succeeding in what they were intended to do, and nothing really changing in the sense of like, well, we have to leave now because something happened. No, it was just, yeah, if we knew Leandrin like escaped, yes, that makes sense, but we don't know what happens to Leandrin. We don't even know if she's alive.
She's alive.
I'm sure she is, but
Yeah,
what I'm saying is like we see her last with Moghedien, and then in the last shot, you just see Moghedien by herself. So,
yeah.
Also, like I would have liked a little bit more time with Matt with the Eelfin. I would have definitely enjoyed some more time of that, exploring that a little bit more. I did like the Lan and Elaine interplay a lot. I thought that was really good. I really wanted to ask Brendan some questions about that. Unfortunately, maybe we can ask him and he can write us some more notes. And yeah, I felt like there was a lot of stuff in here that was good, but again, I feel like it was rushed and we needed a little bit more time with some of it. So I'm going to give it a 4 as well.
Can you, I don't know.
I'll go. Yeah, I feel like I really liked it when I was watching it. I had a couple of those like little things that I thought were weird. But I feel like I like it a little less after having talked about it, which I feel like happens all the time.
This happens all the time.
But we're being picky. We're picking on things.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I really did like it when I was watching it. I think it was a really good finale. You know, if Tanchico got sewn up a little better, I think it would have helped my rating a little. I mean, I'm not giving it a bad rating, but I think that was like probably my biggest issue with the episode is that kind of just like Peter, like Nynaeve breaking her block isn't enough of a, what's the word?
A climax
for that storyline. Like that should happen, and then because she broke the block, there should be another thing. I don't think you need her to like kill Leandrin or anything, but like something she could have cool. Like walked behind her and like, you know, meet her some kind of confrontation between them. Yes. I think would have been better than nothing. So I'm still gonna give it a 4 because I really did like it a lot, and yeah, I thought it was a good finale, and there's a lot of stuff set up, obviously, for hopefully a season 4, but I'll give it a 4.
You should have.
Tom, did Brendan give us the rating sheets? Now I realize we can't go through the final scores for the whole season.
He didn't give us the rating sheets.
Well, we have the last one. It's in chat. I don't know how to can't calculate. Yeah.
We have to retype it and do it.
Yeah.
I didn't like this episode at all, really.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't the worst episode of the show, but it was my least favorite episode of the show. Nothing worked for me. Wow. Like, there were 3 scenes that I thought were okay. There were a couple of lines that I liked, but overall, I thought every storyline was not executed well. I thought that a lot of the dramatic resolutions to things didn't really land. I was really upset at how much I didn't like it the first time I watched it. So I was like, oh, I gotta watch it again. And then it's and I want to be clear, like there's been a lot of chatter about particular things, when they killed this person, it made me feel like none of that. Like, I'm not upset with any of the plot decisions that they made, really, so much as the way that they did it. It's not bad. It's not it's not bad so much as it just, I think it was just really disappointing. Every episode of this show this season has been really, really good, and I feel like they completely fumbled the end to the point where I don't know. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars.
Wow,
and that's really all because of technical merits, I would say. I think technically the show was done really well, and I think that the actors gave some decent performances, but I don't think that this episode was good television at all.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Sorry,
there.
guys.
No, that's fine. I know what you're saying here, because I also feel it was interesting.
Nothing landed.
It was interesting to hear Brendan's take on it, because I thought the things that made me upset or not like it as much were book things, and I was like, well, I'm curious to see how a non-book reader feels about it, because the things that bother me were book things. But as we were talking about, like you said, Jen, but I feel like every time we talk about an episode, I like it less than.
I feel like I dragged it down a little bit because I was so negative about literally everything we brought up.
But there were things. There's a lot of there are holes in this episode, and it is cramming a lot of stuff into. We should have gotten more time.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I'm not upset with any of the changes they make. I'm not. It's not like I thought they made a bad choice. I thought that they executed all of their choices poorly. That's really how I feel.
Yeah, I expected things to progress further by the end of this episode. Also,
yes,
which is interesting, because I feel like they crammed a lot into it, but I also expected it to be. There'd be more resolution at the end of the episode, which is really interestingly odd and conflicting there, because.
Well, they put a bunch of stuff in, and they didn't have to. Whatever. And they didn't. They ended it. I mean, I like the way they ended it, but it probably would have been better served, I think, to end it with more stuff of with more, But I think that was intentional too. I think they wanted to leave themselves open to if they got a season 4. And not if the plan was for 8, if they get 5, they have different ways that they can move these storylines to resolve it in 2 seasons as opposed to resolving it in 5 seasons or whatever. And I think that's why they kind of left it pinned off without advancing too far in the future.
Yeah. All right. We'll pretend that Brendan's leaving and transition over to our spoiler-filled chat. And we're back to talk spoilers, because there's a lot of stuff in here for sure. So can we talk about the Aelfin and the eel fit? So Elida, it's clearly stated Aelfin, right? When Elida comes out of there, all the end says Aelfin. So it's different than the eelfin. But we heard the fox yelping sound.
Makes no sense.
So are there foxes in there too? And they're called the Aelfin? And what's the difference between what they do? Because it seems like, I don't know, are there questions being answered? Is it because they kind of blur the lines there by not saying like gifts or answering questions? They're saying needs, which could be either or. So I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know. I think you can take what, like, how Elida walks out of there with saying, like, she asked some questions, she got some answers, because she walks out and says, I'm gonna be the Amerlin, which is true, just not right now. And like that bracelet could be like, this is the bargain, right? Whatever. Like, this is like this is the side that we're gonna, like, that could be what she bargained to get out there with or whatever. Like similar to Matt's hung from the Ashandra, even though no one says anything or does anything about it. When he comes out of the tower, when he comes out of his doorway, right?
So here's someone saying, Meg Maz is saying that she thinks Elida had it beforehand. Do you think that's like something that protected her against them? Like she had some sort of tirangrial that...
Was it one of the things that she's not supposed to bring in there?
Could be iron.
Iron? Or?
Was it an iron bracelet? It didn't look iron to me. But like, is it like a tirangrial that kind of protected her against them, maybe?
Possible.
So because she comes out, she just walks out. Matt gets hung.
Oh, okay. So Dana's saying she had the bracelet at Morghase's coronation.
There you go. Then.
Oh.
So yeah, that speaks it.
Yeah, so why does she walk out? And it has to do, yeah, maybe it's something to do with...
I want to see a picture of that. Somebody pull up a picture of that. Oh, I didn't notice that at all. But, I mean...
Yeah. And is it weird that she was, like, in Camelin and then, like, just popped back to try to become the Amerlin seat, then, like, went back to Camelin?
Well, what's the timeline on that? Because do they say when Elida went to Camelin? Because
she's in Camelin when she gets her coronation.
20,
which is when Elaine was like a baby.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So it'd have to be more than that. Yeah. Yeah, I guess she does. That's interesting because for her to be able to drum up support to be Amerlin, that's not in the books, right? It's not Elida. It's not Elida she's against. Yeah. Because Elida's in Camelin the whole time. How would she, how would she come back and drum up enough support to be Amerlin or think she could? She
doesn't. She thinks she's got Alviarin on her side, but she goes in and she's like, okay, it's a lock. I got the ask, or whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure just on this, because this is the part that I wanted to talk about. Like, Alviarin's like looks at how little support Swan has into its how much support Elida has and says this tower is going to be way too stable with a leader with that much support. So changes her opinion, and all of her Black Aja buddies go with it.
Yeah.
So I was that's one of my questions.
She only knows about, like, they each know, and when they see their other person from their heart get up, then they get up.
That's what I was going to say. Like, are those all Black sisters who got, well, I mean, not all of them, but
that's what,
even Corinna's not a Black sister.
No, the ones who stand with Swan in the beginning, I think
Corinna doesn't stand
Corinna
with Swan.
does not stand.
Only Varen and the three blues stand.
Yeah.
I thought Corinna stood
No,
too.
it's Varen and the three blues. Those are the only people who stand. And then Alviarin gets up and the other white, and then other people start getting up. And Corinna
maybe they're not all Black. Maybe just some of them are Black.
Which is interesting that the red didn't vote for her because the red, I mean, not the red, the green, because the green and blue are close and they hate the green and red do not get along. So you would think, like, was Swan such a weak candidate that even the green needed persuading?
Swan's whatever we talk about it all the time. Swan's not a good Amerlin in the book. She's not good at the job in the book. She's so bad.
But I feel like the green would vote for anybody that's not
a red.
Other than a red.
Yeah.
But again, this is I think just the dramatics of the scene.
Yeah.
I wanted to get back, so going back to Alviarin though. So this is an interesting thing, right? I'm going to go a little deeper here, right? We know that Alviarin is Black Aja, so she can kill Swan regardless of if she believes she's a dark friend or not. Right?
Yes.
Do you think that she leverages that to convince people to be more convincing that Swan is a dark friend, because she'd be like, well, if she wasn't a dark friend, I wouldn't be able to kill her because I'm an Aes Sedai and we can't do that.
Well, no, not if she believes that she is. If that's how it works, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, I think other Aes Sedai can use it as evidence that she wouldn't have to leverage it. People would just go like, well, Alviarin believed it. No, surely there's no other Black Aja here. Yeah. I don't know. I think she kills her right then because she sees that Swan that Elyda's actually like
Listening.
impacted by this beautiful speech.
Yeah.
It's like, let's shut this up.
Yeah. I was having so much fun watching everything Alviarin was doing just because I was like, she's black. She's black.
She's the head.
She's evil.
Yeah. Well, and now I'm putting all my hopes on her because Samael waste.
I was not expecting Semiraj.
No, I hope she's Alviarin. Alviarin is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, she's Alviarin.
I really hope she's just Alviarin.
Well, she would be Masana if anybody, because Masana's the one in the tower.
No.
If they were going to replace...
No, I think she's Alviarin. I don't think Semiraj wasn't out 10 years ago or whatever, so I think it's just...
No, but maybe she could kill her and take over her body.
Well, that's what happened with...
Masana did that.
Yeah, that's what Masana did, so...
Yeah.
But is there a Masana?
No. I don't think so.
Well, maybe, but who knows? Maybe Masana's the guitar playing Forsaken though. Yeah,
so oh man, they had me fooled. I thought that somehow it was just going to be the Asmodean role. Look, he's going to train Rand, and then Moghedien comes and just kills him.
But was that like a joke that was like for our benefit? Like, you guys thought we were going to do this, but we didn't.
Well, it's
what?
It's Lanfear's motive for sending Samael there, right? So it makes sense that, right? It all makes sense.
What's her motive?
Remember, she says, I'm sending Rand, when she meets with Moiraine in the 6th episode, she says, I'm sending Rand a surprise. Don't let him deal with it. It's Samael, right? She's sending him Samael, but she's doing it to help Rand because she says, when I think she has a conversation with Moiraine. Wait, does she have a conversation with Moiraine? I don't know. She mentions it that she was going to use him to train Rand.
Yeah. But
so
I don't know.
I'm just saying it makes sense from a story perspective, disregarding the books, right? And Asmodean, like it just makes sense. So, but yeah, they got me, man. I didn't think Moghedien was going to come there and kill him. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it is what it is.
I think a lot of us assumed that Ilian just wasn't really going to be a story.
Yeah, in
the show.
I didn't think so either. I really thought that Samael was going to be in Tyr. I thought he would just die next season. So it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But I guess that's going to be Robin is going to do all that.
Lanfear's using a lot of true power in this episode. Everything she's doing is true power. I thought it was interesting that this is another issue I have with that first scene when they're in Teleran Riyadh is why is she channeling the true power in Teleran Riyadh when she can just do, manipulate the world of dreams because it's her domain and she's very, very experienced at it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the true power.
She's that mad.
Yeah,
she's so mad. She's out of control.
Yeah, it's very slow moving. The true power too. Takes a lot of build up and contortioning to get the true power going. She's like one of those pitchers who has a really strange, awkward wind up. So I was going to ask: is she nameless right now? Is that why she's able to use the true power so much? You don't really see any of the other Forsaken use it.
She uses it to heal herself in the season 2.
Yeah. That's true. Before Shamael's dead.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
think she just uses
it. Good point there.
Does there have to be a nameless?
Doesn't have to be.
I figured nobody was.
It's kind of like being the captain of the Yankees. Like, there's not always going to be one, but when one emerges, then they're called upon.
I feel like if the Dark One knows Lanfear, which you gotta think it does.
But didn't they make a comment in the Forsaken Tea Party that she didn't talk, right? Doesn't Samael or somebody mention?
Yeah, like nobody's nameless yet right now.
Right.
But she didn't even go and talk to the Dark One, and he made it seem like he did, right?
Right. But also, remember, they lie all the time.
That's true.
To each other.
Also, you can talk to the Dark One without being nameless in the book.
Yes. Yeah, Demandra does. And
Oh, yeah, no, I agree.
Gilbert Gottfried's famous scene.
Yes.
It's true.
He's asking him if he wants to be nameless.
Yeah. I didn't bring it up before, but when Matt comes out of Finland, right, he's lost more memories. What are they doing? They reversed it.
Did they get more to fill it? Yeah, they made it worse.
They reversed it, right? He asked for his memories back in the books. Now he's asking for them to be taken away. Now, what happens now? Is he going to go in the other you think he's going to go in the other doorway and get his memories back?
No, I don't think he's going to go back to the White Tower. Why?
I don't know. His memories are gone though. Like, what happens?
So maybe you know how there's like
it's
all
another
the different
thing
frames around the room.
What's that?
Like,
you know, there's like all the different red frames around the room, like when he goes in there.
Oh, in Finland,
and he can't get out. Yeah, so maybe like depending on which one you come through, the guy has to like act in a different way. He's like, "Oh, I'm an elfin now," and like you don't know because like you probably never went through any other doors.
He Mrs. Doubtfire's it, the elfin, and he's got to become the elfin now. So he's got to get his snake costume on. It's the same person, and he runs back and forth between the different rooms, dressing up in different costumes. This is the Doubtfire comparison right here. This is it. And that's why you heard the fox sound when Elida came out, because it was him getting dressed back into his fox outfit.
Somebody was going in the other door.
Yes.
And he was like,
Yes, he had to go get his fox costume on.
He was warming up.
Yeah.
Tom, we're getting a lot of 2.5.
People, I'm sorry. I mentioned it in the chat like that. My original rating walking into this episode was lower than that. You guys talked me up.
Okay.
So like,
did you see the Ashendarai? I wanted to point this out to Brendan because I knew he probably didn't see it.
No, yeah.
But
it was there. It was there. Just because, like, it's not like no one notices it. They don't take it. You don't see them leave.
He might take it. He takes it.
I will bet my life that he has that Ashendarai with him.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so now you've got Matt. And this is another thing I didn't want to get into before, but like, okay, so now Matt's gone through the doorway. He's got his medallion. He's got his Ashendarai, and now he has no memories of battles or anything. And that's where you're leaving him now. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing to this guy.
Maybe
like, his storyline is so consistently screwed up. I felt like they whatever.
Maybe he has the memories, but the screaming is gone, and he lost some of his other memories. So he still has the war memories,
and like the guy
but the
brings it up.
Screaming is
like,
the torture stuff is gone.
I think it's weird. Like the guy brings up he's like, I can take your memories.
Yeah. You have memories that aren't yours. We could take those.
Right. He also didn't ask for anything. He said, "You can fix me," and then it was like done.
Yeah. So it's like
he heard, "Can you fix me?"
Yeah, he must have
reversed the words.
Yeah.
Misheard him.
Yeah. Just
so he was talking
I don't
with an
know.
accent. Broken
like,
English.
is he gonna go? Is there a third doorway? Who knows? Whatever.
A third.
Look,
where
does the
why
third
does
one
there
go?
only have to be two? There's the tower. Like whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, like, that was really confusing to me. Why? I was like, wait, he's gonna get his memories taken away?
They promised her the Amerlin seat.
Right.
So she doesn't get it the first time, but then like she gets herself the Amerlin seat the second time.
Well,
she just like, well, if I get it to this point, like it'll work out in my favor if I just keep.
It could be the kind of thing where it's like you will have the ambulance seat, but they don't say when, and she assumes it's today, and it's
Well, all
really
the
10
art
years from now.
outright says like what you get is not what you think it is, or right? Basically, like what you're asking for and getting.
Yeah, there's always a price or whatever.
Yeah.
So what's her price? Is it like the shakes? Is that her price?
Yeah, her price is the shakes.
No, that she's like having a convulsion or whatever.
Her price is Parkinson's disease.
Doesn't she look?
Oh,
doesn't she look at the bracelet when that's happening?
It is
or
shaking,
reach for
yeah.
it or something. Yeah, so maybe that's the price. Some kind of
that's not a bad. That's a bad. You know.
Well, maybe it happens a lot more often, but we only saw it that one time.
Maybe the bracelet prevents her from shaking. Maybe that's what the bracelet is. Maybe she was sick. And she went in there and she asked to be like, and right, I said I couldn't heal her. And she went in there and asked to be healed. And they gave her that bracelet and it prevents her from.
She had the bracelet. They put the magic into a bracelet that was pre-existing.
I haven't seen a shot of that bracelet when she at the coronation yet in our Discord chat. So screenshot or it didn't happen is what I'm going to say.
Oh boy. We're like on the first scene of the whole show. I hope we don't know.
I feel like this is just us like kind of going off.
We're still recording. Do we know that we're recording? Oh, here we go. Here's a picture. Is that it?
I don't know. Is that it?
Is there like a new charm hanging off? Isn't there like a charm hanging off of it? Maybe they added that to the bracelet.
It's like a Pandora bracelet.
Somebody show me what the bracelet looks like on the show.
No, I think that is the same bracelet. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's like a charm hanging on it. A key. Yeah.
I love that it's slowly spinning. Perfect gift there, Gabe.
This show is just like, oh my god.
All right. Let's focus up. Let's focus up and get through.
I'm sorry. So, all right. Let's talk about Swan dying for a minute here, right? People were there's a lot of people who are really upset about this. I feel like we've been talking about Swan dying for like 4 years now on this podcast. Like, we wouldn't be surprised if Swan dies. I think they're going to kill Swan during the coup. Like, and then people were actually shocked about it. And I wanted to be like, are you kidding me? Like, we've been talking about this for years. Yeah. That it would make sense if they just kill her, because for a TV show, like, there's so many characters, especially in these books. They don't need this many Aes Sedai to play this many different roles. They can combine characters. So I'm gonna guess maybe Leane might take on that role, or I don't know. There could be somebody else, but maybe they'll just give it to Alana because they give her a lot of stuff. So I don't know. Were either of you like upset or shocked that Swan died?
No, not really. I mean, like when she started giving the big dramatic speech, I kind of like thought maybe it was coming, and then it kind of came very quickly. It just happened, and then it was kind of brutal the way they did it.
Dramatic effect.
Yeah.
I was more shocked that Moraine's not dead. I was kind of upset a little bit that Moraine wasn't dead at the end of the season. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, okay, they're gonna die together. So now they're together. Like they said, they'll find each other in the next life and they'll be together then. Now they're both dead. Like, that's what I thought was happening.
Yeah.
But then it didn't.
And
then, my husband, Dan's like, Moraine, of course Moraine wasn't going to die. And I'm just like, okay, that's what everyone says. Like, of course she's not. Of course. That would be stupid. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, she doesn't die, but.
That's true. Yeah, she doesn't die. Then, how about like another gateway pops up in the desert?
Another door frame.
Yeah.
Under the sand.
Yeah. The ground starts shaking and it slowly rises up out of the ground. How about you, Tom? Were you upset that Moraine didn't die?
No.
I said that there's time for her to die. So did she just misinterpret her futures? Like, I don't understand.
It's not over yet.
Or do you think that she potentially could die in a later season?
I don't think that the episode was written well. I don't know the answer to that.
She is going to die at some point. So, like, eventually, she saw 1,000 futures. So said if she lived, then Rand would die. So yeah, so she has to die before the last battle, basically.
Yeah, there's plenty
That's
of time
what
for
she's
that.
saying. So we have a little
I
bit of time.
guess.
That's what she's saying.
Well, it's the book spoilers. Rand dies, and he dies. It's spoiler alert. He dies. So,
or does he?
He dies and gets reborn, so she could live the whole book.
He dies and gets reborn? I didn't...
Well,
he's already
that's what
reborn.
What
He gets
happens?
reborn
He doesn't
again.
die.
Transfer, his body dies, and he goes
His
to another
soul
body.
is still alive.
He was reborn again.
Their souls kissed.
He's re-reborn.
His soul's kiss. Whatever.
Yeah, I was a little upset that Moraine didn't die. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it outright. I feel like it was a cop-out. But if she's going to die next season, then okay. I'm okay with it.
Maybe they showed it to maybe she did die. They showed it to Amazon. They were like, "Are you fucking nuts? Like, she's not. Pull that sword out. What are you like? No, she's not dying. Sorry.
They got Vince McMahon to make some edits to the to that scene.
Yeah, or like she dies in Land's arms, and they just like cut before she actually dies.
Yeah. Pick her up. Cut. All right. She's still. Her eyes are open. She's okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, any other spoilery conversations you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Hold on.
We've been talking a long time.
Do you think
that's things to put a pin into?
Do you think that guy is Luce Theron?
Oh, yeah, that is the last note I have here. Yes, that's got to be Luce Theron, right?
Why is he seeing Luce Theron?
Yeah, and why is he really far away? Is it like It Follows? I don't
think that's Luce Theron. It doesn't make any sense.
Lanfear had an STD, and that's the...
I don't want Luce Theron to be a vision that he sees because I want people to not know whether Rand is crazy or Rand is magic, you know? Like,
I'm okay with it.
If he's talking to a ghost, then he's crazy. Like, if he hears a voice in his head that gives him knowledge he can not have any other way, then there's some doubt as
you
to
think you think a voice in his head is people are going to think he's crazy?
I think a voice in his head,
because no one will make that connection.
No, but I think if a voice in his head is telling him this is how I channeled in the Age of Legends, do it this way, and blah 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 blah, and gives him knowledge that he doesn't have. Like,
you think it'll really be like his spirit, the spirit of Luce Theron, really giving him information?
Because that's what it is. Like, half of it is he's crazy, and half of it is that like he's remembering his past lives in some ways, you know. But if it's just the guy's there and he's screaming and he's talking and he's all cuckoo cuckoo, and then like he's like, oh, by the way, if you could knock one of them out, you'll break the shield or whatever. Like, it's, I don't know.
Do you guys think Tom is Elaine's dad?
I wanted to get Brendan's thoughts on this so bad. They're really making it seem like there's something going on, or at least that he had more of a relationship with Morghese than they're letting on, which is what happens in the books. So I don't know if they're going to go that way. I mean, I think they should at least play that and make the audience think it is, and then whether they make it true or not, I mean, that they're going to do what they're going to do, but I don't mind them like trying to make people think that he could be Elaine's dad. That was something that happened in the, when we read the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
I
think he's got a paternalistic vibe towards her, but he also has that towards Matt. And I don't think he's Matt's dad.
No, I know, but I don't think it's just because of that. I think it's because he knew her when she was a little girl. He knows all this stuff about her, and he has been watching the court since then. He made a promise to her mother that he would take care of her. Like, like what? I don't know. Maybe that. I don't know.
By leaving and coming back.
But he's been watching the court.
If it's like the book, she kicks him out of the kingdom and says you can't come back to the capital city. So he doesn't have a choice.
Well, that's the whole Owen thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could still
he leaves
to go deal with Owen, his nephew's issue. So I mean, that all
tell her, and
that all makes sense. So maybe he made the promise well before before he even intended to leave, and then the Owen thing came up, and he was like, I gotta go, and never come back. Well, he couldn't come back because Morghese is angry. I did have a question. I forgot about this one, right? We talked a little bit about before with Melindra. She just decides to break her oath and then dies.
Yeah, is that's not in the book, right?
No, you can't break your oath in the book, but Varen knows the loophole, right? Because the saying is like, you won't betray the Dark One until the hour of your death. So she poisons herself knowing that she's going to die and it's within the hour of her death, so she can break her oath.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, this is gonna.
So someone pointed out, like, Aes Sedai swear their oaths on the oath rod, the black oaths.
Yeah.
Dark Friends don't. They take different dark oaths than Black Aja. So like,
it just works different there.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't remember ever having this situation in the books where a dark friend breaks their oaths and dies from a magical.
I guess Ingtar does, but he doesn't die from a magical death. He dies from getting stabbed a lot.
Yeah. And like your soul dies, you can never be reborn. Is that like a thing?
Well, I think it's the kind of thing like you've pledged your soul to the Dark One, so if you break your oaths to him, he won't let you be reborn.
Yeah,
your soul's his.
Lord of the Grave, right? Your soul's his. I got that part. That part made sense. I was trying to figure out did she consciously break her oath? Decide what's the trigger where it's well, you've broken your oath, but she could still kill Anne. I don't know. It was just weird.
Well, she's not gonna do it, and she's not gonna do it.
She makes the decision to not do it.
Lanfear is here, and this is gonna happen, and that's it.
Okay.
After that.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess Lan. It sounds like Lan's gonna have a real drive to, I don't know, do something with Malkier next season.
Yeah, I mean, it almost if Maureen would have died, he could have gone and explored that, but.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah,
he would have been too upset.
I did think that
Alana would have made it better for him.
I think the conversation between Rand and Moraine in this episode, where where he says, where he says that he trusts her and all that, that sets up in a much more effective way, why he would want her and Nynaeve to be the two people there at the end, rather than oh, I knew this lady, she treated me awfully for a couple of years, but at the end, I think she was pretty decent. I think it was nice to verbalize that rather than have that be kind of an off-screen, post quote unquote death development of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we wrap it up here, or is there more?
So people are asking, do we have full season ratings? And Brendan keeps track of all that stuff, and we'll have an average of what we all did. But I don't know if we want next week to.
Yeah, we can share that out
and do
We could even recap. Well, we're going to be at Jordan Con next week, so
that's true.
But we can definitely share that out. Yeah, that was our fault. We should have asked Brendan earlier for the sheet with the ratings on it, so we could have.
It's fine.
You were hoping he was going to Willis read it, man.
Yeah, I was really. I left the door open for him to surprise us, but he's probably unconscious right now.
Yes.
All right, Jen.
We
have new patrons to thank.
We do have new patrons. We have 2 new patrons.
Hey.
Joining the Dreamwalkers, we have Thomas Jackson.
Oh, we didn't say Thomas Jackson.
Stonewall.
No, we missed Thomas Jackson last week.
Okay.
And joining the company of Chavanin, we have Sarah Keene.
We also
thank you guys.
We also have a patron who edited their pledge, Space Cadet, joined the company of Chelvannon. So thank you all.
Space Cadet.
We appreciate you.
I'm sorry, you don't come up on the main page when you edit your pledge. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea.
I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and Blue Sky. Join us over in Discord and continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, so be sure to go to our YouTube page to like and subscribe. There are also a lot of cast interviews on YouTube that you can't get on a regular podcast feed, so go check that out as well. We just released one with Yosha. We talked a little bit about the last episode and that end scene. I want to remind everyone to rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts and check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes to this episode. Final thoughts, Jen and Tom, as we close out season 3 of The Wheel of Time.
We did it.
Love this season. Give us more.
Yeah.
Hashtag
renew.
Renew what, everybody? Go out there and spread the hashtag Renew what. Tag Amazon in it. Tag Jeff Bezos. Tag Sony.
Jeff Bezos.
Tag everyone. We want season 4, everybody. And JordanCon is coming up this week, so if we're gonna,
Yes, it is.
Hopefully we'll see some of you there. If you do see us,
explain my rating to a bunch of people in chat.
Yeah, feel free to come up to Tom and chastise him for his rating, or shake his hand.
That's it. Just, have a conversation about it.
Yeah, we'll probably be doing some sort of live episode from there. We usually do. So we'll figure that out. If you're in our Discord, keep an eye out. We'll post something there. Even though season 3's over, we still got a lot, right? We've got to go back. We've got to bring our spouses on to do their review of the season. We've got to go back to our predictions, our season breakdown, and see how bad we were with that.
Yeah.
There were some things we did all right with.
There were
some.
We've also got to go back and visit all of the predicted unconfirmed casts that we did as well. So we've got a lot of stuff still to talk about season 3, everyone. So
that's true.
This isn't the end.
And you know what? I'm saying it right now. I'm using Jen's The Secret. We're willing it to happen. And then we'll talk about season 4 after.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about season 4.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. And you'll hear us next time.